This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Happy Labor Day, Commie Day. What are we calling it these days?
Comrade.
Happy Labor Day, everybody. Welcome to this live edition of the Break the Bell podcast. It is Monday night. We're not taking a break just because the communists tell us to.
No, absolutely not.
And mostly because we don't want to.
No, this is more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun than not working, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
And to be honest, I actually consider this day more of the end of summer.
yeah. No, it's not the end of summer, Bill.
I know technically it's
No.
not, but for me, it
Like,
is.
why does everybody hit like this point and like they just give up on summer?
Because the pools are
completely?
closed. You can't go swimming anymore.
I mean, that's fair. But you gotta have an in-law that has a pool that you can still enjoy while it's like I do.
I don't have that.
You don't have that luxury. Well, tell your in-laws to
Us
get a
little
fucking-
people.
So I just get tired of hearing like, it's September. I'm gonna start decorating for Halloween, or
I know.
the pumpkin spice lattes are coming out.
Right.
The Uggs are coming out. The basic white females are coming out and out of the woodwork.
Yeah. You know, the basic white females live for this time of year.
They
right?
do, and I don't
No.
because. And I know you're like, oh, football season starts up this week.
Yes.
Oh, who fucking cares? Baseball season.
The
has,
millions and millions of
No,
NFL fans.
No, baseball season still has at
I'm
least
sorry.
almost
I'm
a full, probably a month and a half left. If you watch through the playoffs, if your team is good enough to make it to the playoffs,
Is your team good enough to?
oh, absolutely,
Yeah?
they're going.
Okay.
They're absolutely freaking going.
All right.
They're, I mean, I am blessed to like a team that is in the National League Central Division, because like there's no competition this year in the
Yeah.
Central Division, because like the top team behind them is the Brewers, and they're like 8 games behind,
Oh,
I think.
wow. Oh,
And then
wow.
the next under them is the Cubs, and they're like 23 games
Oh,
behind.
holy
So it's just like
Yeah.
it's not even a competition. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll make it to the playoffs, unless God forbid something like atrocious happens and they just start playing like shit, and the Brewers for some reason make this great comeback, which
Yeah.
it could happen. The
There's
Cardinals
time
did it.
left.
Cardinals did it last year. They won
Yeah.
like a 18-game winning streak in
Right.
the second half, and
Yeah.
they went from like having a 1% chance of making to the playoffs to being to actually getting in the playoffs, which was bizarre. But let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Well, this is the last run for some of your main guys, right?
It is. The pitcher Adam Wainwright, the catcher Yadier Molina, and Albert Pujols are all on their way out the door. And
Mhm.
Albert is at 695 home runs, and I need him to get to 700 by the end of the year. So
do you have money a bet running on
no,
it?
I don't. But he just, I mean,
Yeah.
to go out with, like, say you go out with like 698, it's just like,
Right.
man, I should come back
Yeah.
for one more game or something. And it's almost like the skeptic of the pro sports skeptic in me that thinks all pro sports are rigged is starting to think that they are intentionally throwing him good pitches to get these home runs, because he hits primarily good off of left-handed pitchers. And I was reading this giant argument on Facebook about this today, about how, because the Cubs had a left-handed pitcher up, and he comes in to pinch hit, and they're like, why the hell wouldn't they pitch around him? Because they know he's going to smash a home run off a left-handed pitcher. No, sure as shit, they pitched right down the middle, and he smacked a home run.
Huh.
And part of me is like, yeah, maybe they're doing this on purpose but then the other part of me is like, no, the Cubs wouldn't do that to benefit the Cardinals.
Right,
So just
right.
don't see that. And on the other hand, there was like 3 other good batters coming up. So it's like, so you pitch around him, put him on base, and then the next guy gets up and hits a home run. So I mean, what's your odds?
They wouldn't do something like when Brett Favre wanted Michael Strahan to break the all-time sack record, so he let himself be sacked by.
So he just fell down.
Well, he just stood there and let himself get sacked.
I mean, I could see him doing that out of like the benefit of like a great, like a legend like that getting hitting their goal before going out. But I mean, like I said, I'm a skeptic, but it's still fun to watch, even if you're a skeptic about it. I'm not like a black-pilled skeptic, like, oh, pro sports suck.
Well, you wouldn't watch it if...
Yeah, exactly. I still enjoy the entertainment value of it. Anyway, we're not here to talk about sports. We're here to, or the end of summer, which isn't over yet until baseball season's over. So, which is mid-October. We are here to discuss some theories today.
Some interesting ones
really
that I had not heard of before.
A couple of people brought them to my attention, or was like talking on the social medias about it and brought it to my attention. One specifically was Justin Lightheart, who was on our show a few months ago. He's like, hey, have you guys heard of this or talked about this? And so this week I was like, send me all your information on that. And he's like, I don't have information. I was just wondering if you talked about it. I want to hear somebody talk. Well, shit, I guess we're going to talk about it. So we're going to talk about this, which I'm alluding to it, but I haven't said what it is about.
You haven't. You're like this whole buildup.
Yes. The internet is dead. The internet is technically dead, like Walking Dead dead.
Is this like Video Killed the Radio Star dead?
I think so. Something like that. So all this to say, the last 2.5 years has been us trying to convince you that we are real, and maybe we're not real. Maybe you think we are real, but we're not actually real.
Suckers.
Maybe we don't even know if we're real.
I don't often know if I'm real.
I don't either. Maybe we are AI bots that have been programmed to think we're real, and we're not actually real. We think we're communicating with each other, but in reality, we're just a bunch of ones and zeros, like smashing into each other. And I think if we weren't real and we were some kind of AI bots, we'd have a lot more downloads than we currently possess. We are the worst.
We'd be more interesting and have less mistakes.
I don't know about more interesting, but we'd have at least more downloads. We are the worst AI bots ever. We're not even successful.
Can we market that?
We're not even successful at artificially inflating ourselves. So we are talking about this internet is dead theory because it interests me, and I don't want to talk about the rest of the bullshit in the world. And this can apply to everything else we talk about, whether it be like the Great Reset or like the metaverse and different things like that. It gets into, it gets way deeper than we're going to go with it. But basically the theory is that bots have all but taken over the entire internet. Like the internet's not just dead, like it's going to shut off, but the internet is dead like The Walking Dead. It is like zombified.
It's running itself.
Yep, it's running it. There's not human entities that are running it, or if they are, they're using bots to kind of corral us towards like the same information, which is a really likely scenario in my opinion. Now, all of this is theory, and theory probably by like super crazy conspiracy theorists that don't have any sort of network degree or anything like that, but it's people that have noticed some things, noticed some trends, and they're like, this doesn't appear to be real anymore. Right. So that's what I want to talk about because it sounds like a good conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
So unless you want to talk about like COVID or the war in Ukraine or something like that.
Nobody really wants to talk about that.
Or the election coming up. Do you want to talk about that instead? No.
That'll have its time.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not this week. So we are going to talk about whether or not this is real. And it can get bizarre. Like we can go full-fledged, like AI is going to take over the world, because probably it will if it hasn't already.
Skynet.
Again, how do we know we're not already in a simulation?
It's true. We could be.
We could, and just never know it. We could be in this like utopian bliss, which if this is utopian bliss, good God, could they have programmed it a little bit better?
Right? I know. I would hope that they, I don't know, would make it a little bit easier to, get rich and succeed in this simulation.
Not be like, struggling constantly.
Give me something interesting, right? Let's aliens attack or something,
Right. So the whole concept is that basically the majority of your interactions online are no longer with people. And so think about that when you're getting into Twitter spats or like online like keyboard battles and stuff. You could be arguing with a bot. There's a good chance that you are arguing with a bot. So why are you wasting so much of your precious time arguing when there's a very good chance that's not even a real person you're arguing with? That's just trying to prove a point or trying to steer opinions towards.
Right. And I see that. I mean, when I read different comments off things, I mean, I just, get the feeling it's like, okay, this person's either really, really stupid or it's a bot.
Or they're not real. You're not. You can't be real, man.
This thing has been programmed to argue this point.
Now, if you think about it, though, whether it's a person or a bot, it's the same conclusion. This thing has been programmed to argue like this.
Right, yeah.
And you're not going to get through to this entity, whether it's
because the person has been then programmed by the bot.
or programmed by society or social media or whatever to basically have this monolithic kind of train of thought where you're just like everybody's venturing down the same line of like the groupthink mentality that we've talked about so many times with like 1984 and shit. So whether or not it's a bot, they're basically a robot.
So it's a chicken before the egg scenario, like which came first.
Right, exactly. So we're going to get into all that. Before we do, obviously, we got to mention our sponsor, which is Run Your Mouth Coffee.
Which is not a bot.
That we know of. Maybe they are.
Damn it.
Do you think John Odermatt's a bot?
Can we get him on again and ask?
I don't know. Would a bot tell you if it's a bot, though?
No. Oh, well, but that one did. That maybe we'll get into in that one article you sent me.
And we're going to get into that. Let's save that thought because that's fun. Our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee. They fully support your right to be able to argue with bots online. And do they support the rights of bots to argue back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Equal opportunity.
Run Your Mouth Coffee supports your right to free speech, your right to be able to run your mouth and say the things that are on your mind without like being corralled into this universal train of thought that we are told to think, we are told to talk like, we are told to act like. Run Your Mouth Coffee wants you to think for yourself and talk for yourself, and they make good coffee, which is bots don't make good coffee.
No,
no,
because they don't have taste buds. They wouldn't know it. They wouldn't know.
How the fuck would they know? Just some science formula they put together to make good coffee. Some algorithm for fucking delicious coffee.
Come on,
that's not real. That doesn't happen. That's how you get Folgers. Go to rymcoffee.com. Tell them we sent you by using the promo code Break the Bell, and you'll get 10% off your purchase plus free shipping. And that's real. That's real life. That's reality. You don't have to worry about if that's fake or not. That's real. And it's awesome and delicious. rymcoffee.com.
Or is it?
Or is it? I don't know. This whole episode's going to start making us question, is anything real in life? Is this coffee? Is this thing that I'm drinking? Like, again, back to like simulations, which this isn't even an episode on simulation theory, which we should do an episode on simulation theory. But if all of this shit's real, it makes you question if, or isn't real, if all the online like interactions that you have, if that's not real, if that's not real life, then you can apply that to almost anything. It's like, if that's not real life, it seems so realistic, then maybe this isn't real life. And it's like, it's a simulation, but I'm programmed to think that this coffee tastes good, but it's really just programs. It's just ones and zeros.
And telling you that it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. But for now, I'm just going to be optimistic and believe that it's delicious. So make sure you check us out all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and those are all real accounts that we know of.
I feel like this time I need to say something like, there is no spoon.
you can find us at our handle at Break the Bell Pod, or you can go support us and buy some of our merch. If you haven't checked it out already, you can go to breakthebell.bigcartel.com and check out some of our sweet merchandise, which we have the I Will Not Eat Your Bugs shirt. We have the We Are Not Your Pawns shirt, which you can see here. If you're listening, go check them out, because it's hard to describe. Or you can get our logo on a t-shirt, a cup, or whatever. We got a bunch of cool merch there. Go check it out. We're gonna have to come out with this is not real shirt.
Yeah,
Or,
there
this
you
shirt
go.
is not real. That's
There
what-
you go. I like it.
that's going to be my next design. So keep an eye out for that new design. Yeah, again, you can find that merch at breakthebellpod.com. You can help support us a little more than just listening to us, which is first and foremost what we appreciate you doing, is listening to us first. And then if you feel the need, hey, we want to kick in a little extra,
Exactly.
go check out that store or join our Patreon club, which is patreon.com/breakthebell. You'll get other merch options, other options for bonus content and stuff like that. So help us out, help us help you do some of that things if you like us.
Absolutely.
If you don't like us, then don't, I guess.
No, but the shirts are still cool.
But yeah, wear
get
the
the shirt.
shirts. Yes, obviously. We're going to get into the show before we totally derail ourselves more than we already have.
Again,
We're going to talk about the dead internet, the dead internet theory. And I got a couple of angles I want to take on this, so it could be fun.
Okay,
So
cool.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What did you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, baby.
Did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me. Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
All right, and here we go. When I texted you and said, hey, I want to talk about the dead internet theory, you said you hadn't heard of it.
I had not heard of it.
What was your initial thought?
I think my first thought was that basically, I guess my first thought was that the internet was like just not there anymore. Like it was
shut down.
Yeah, like it was shutting down, or that it was it was on the verge of shutting down.
Can you
or
imagine that?
Yeah,
Can you imagine the chaos if the internet just
people would
decided to
panic.
shut down?
Yeah,
No, what people would die. People would
Yeah.
fucking die.
they
Like,
would literally.
talk about like supply lines shutting down. If
Yeah.
the internet shut down, supply lines would halt.
Yeah.
Production would halt. Everything is based on the internet now.
Right.
I mean, that's telling. Like they talk about the instability of the power
Mhm.
grid. Like, what about the vulnerabilities of the internet?
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
I understand that it would take a lot to shut down the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but because it's not like, as far as we know,
Right.
it's not like one centralized
Yeah.
or a few centralized hubs.
Right.
I mean, we can get into that. Like, I wonder, because a lot of the whole dead internet theory is that like corporations are basically kind of taking over chunks of the
Right.
internet and kind of consolidating, the same as we saw with that we see with businesses. Like businesses consolidating and wealth is consolidating to
Right.
just like a
So
few
you have like a
corporations.
couple big corporations that own large blocks of data that
Yeah, and they'd have
and
to
how
have
it
their own
streams.
like in-house like big
Right.
giant data farms where they can
Mhm.
control the flow of it. And so yeah, if that's the case, you could take out specific sectors of that. You could take out imagine if you just took out a Google farm and like a Facebook farm or something
Right.
like that. I mean,
which is, it's really sad, because I remember, I don't know, probably about 15 years ago, they talked about just how like basically the internet was like this wild frontier, where
That-
basically
yeah.
anything goes, and it's just like no gatekeepers.
Mhm.
I mean, it was just free thought, and you can just go.
yes, and that was kind of like where I wanted to start. It's like at its inception, the internet was like the Wild West, like you were saying. It's like it's vast open frontier.
Yeah.
You think of like the settlers when they were moving west and like the cowboys and stuff. They get to like the frontier, open frontier, and it's just like so much possibility, like endless possibilities.
Yeah.
And then you look at the West, quote unquote, now versus what it was then, and it's like you wouldn't walk across the Mississippi like they did and just look around, just be like, look at all the endless possibilities. No, it's like, wow, this is all bullshit.
Yeah, right.
What are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do here? It's just like oversaturated and there's just people everywhere. It's like, screw this. And that's kind of what the internet's become. There's no longer the wild web, which I think www instead of the World Wide Web, it should have been the wild web, like the wild west, because that's basically what it was. It was like endless possibilities. It's like, well, there's territory over there we can buy up, there's territory there we can occupy. Information can just spread freely and like free exchange of ideas, free like commerce, like free commerce, not free commerce, but like open possibilities,
open start your own business. And like I said, there were no gatekeepers, right? There's nobody being like, oh, you can't do that, or you have to apply for that, or I mean, you could just run with it.
Well, that was pre-social media days.
Right.
It was like a place where you could share like endless content, globally share endless content, and people actually like surfed. You remember the phrase "surfed the web," where when you wanted to find something, you would go surf the and look up
and actually look up stuff instead of having somebody dictate to you what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's like basically akin to like massive troves of multiple encyclopedias. Do you remember encyclopedias?
Oh yeah,
I kind of remember.
Absolutely, I remember.
Like when you did research in school, if Encyclopedia Britannica didn't cut it for you, you went to Encyclopedia Americana to try to find information.
And then plus, I mean, you know, you had the Dewey Decimal System and the library, you know, and all these different resources you could look up. And but it was wide open, right? I mean, all these different sources.
Right
now, it seems like, I mean, if you want to find real information, I mean, you're not going to find it on Google.
No. Well, what do you remember in the like late 90s? There was multiple search engines.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there is now, but it's nothing like I remember our computer screen had like there's like Lycos and Yahoo, and there was another one.
There's Ask Jeeves and
Ask You. We failed ourselves when we gave up on Ask
We
Jeeves.
really did. You know, Ask Jeeves really had potential.
Yes. So I mean, I mean, once you do away with Ask Jeeves, there was no hope for humanity.
But I mean, now Google has become the premier,
the only
because
the go-to source.
Yeah,
I mean, it has its own verb now. It's become
people are like, oh, I'll Google that.
Yeah, you're not surfing the web. I'm not going to go look this up. I'm going to go Google that.
Yeah,
and so,
but if you look something up on Google, and you and I do a lot of research, and we both know that, and from different things we've seen, we know that Google dictates to us what we're going to see.
Yeah, that's come out like with the elections and stuff, that Google would rate certain things higher than certain information higher, or when it came to like COVID and stuff, or they just like flat out block.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like what happened with Tulsi Gabbard, right? When she slammed Kamala Harris, it's like Google stripped her from its search engine.
Yeah. So Google, even in Google's prime, Google was the top dog. Dude, Google was good. It was good free. It was a good source where you could find the most amounts of information in one spot. And I don't know what happened to Google. They got bought out by.
I was gonna say they got lobbied into political action.
Yeah. So there's multiple theories when it comes to the internet being dead. And the first one, and this isn't actually the dead internet theory. I think this is more of the shrinking internet theory. Okay. So they're completely different. When I started looking into it, this is the part that piqued my interest first. And it had to do with Google. They're not the same thing. Like shrinking internet and dead internet aren't the same thing. Shrinking internet says basically like things are getting consolidated and there's just not all the stuff there anymore.
But do you think a lot of that is because, I mean, is it worth putting information out there if you know that Google's going to push it to the bottom of the
Right.
barrel or not even show it at all.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's just like, are we progressing at this point when we are
Right.
becoming
Because,
so limited
I mean,
on the
right,
information? we're
and
allowed
most
to
people
find?
want information. I mean, they're going to go to like a Wikipedia,
Yeah.
or some kind of
Or
wiki,
Facebook or Reddit or something like
right?
that.
Yeah,
They're not
to
even
find
spending
information,
time
right?
surfing
Exactly.
on Google. But this whole shrinking one, this was the part that it was interesting to me, and I want to show you something here. This one's just like kind of a head scratcher. I don't really have an answer for why this is, but this is a head scratcher. So if you don't recognize this screen, this is the classic Google screen. I'm going to search anything. I'm going to search flat earth theory, just something interesting. That should garner quite a few results, right? So I Google flat earth theory. And as I suspected, it says about 170 billion results
Right.
in less than half a second, in 0.54 seconds. I mean, that's
impressive.
That's impressive for you got to have some massive data farms to put out that much information. So I'm going to scroll down here because you get the first page. The first page is a lot of ads, which ads for flat earth theory, I don't know, but so I'm
Looking for a flat earth.
I'm gonna go to keep going as far as I can in these search results. So I'm on page 10. I'm on page 14. It says page 14 of still 170 billion results, right? I go to page 18. It says same thing. I go to page 20. And all of a sudden it says page 20 of about 199 results. That's the end. That's the end of the trail. Can't go any further. Well, it does say they have consolidated to the most relevant results and omitted some entries that are very similar to others.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click.
But who decides that, right?
But that's fine. That's fair. If they want to consolidate, like, because there's a lot of pages that repeat the same nonsense. So I'm going to hit here, repeat search with the omitted results. Okay. So that's going to give me back my 170 billion, right? So I go to the bottom, go to page 10. It's going to take a few seconds. Page 14, page 18. See if I can just scroll to the end. Page 23. This is going to take a few seconds but you're going to get my point. I'm at page 30 right now, and it still says 143 billion. So I'm not sure how we went from 170 to 143 that's by non-consolidation, but we've omitted the consolidated ones. We make it to page 40, and all of a sudden it says page 40 of about 395 results. And this is what the omitted ones included.
Right.
So Google says 170 billion. You scroll to page 40, and it all of a sudden jumps down to 395. On page 39, however, it still says 143 billion. But all of a sudden, you go to page 40, and it says 395 results.
Interesting.
Head scratcher.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, right.
Like, where are the rest of my results? It's not like, I mean, 395 is still way more than I'm ever going to go through in my life. But something is going on where Google says we have 140 billion results. And then all of a sudden, oh, you caught us. We actually only have 395.
Right. Yeah.
And I get flat earth theories you wouldn't think would have is because it's such a fringe theory. Right. I mean, there's 140 billion I thought was insane for that theory. Right. But let's go to a more mainstream one. Prove my point. September 11th. I typed that in. It says 9.2 trillion results. Or, 9.2 trillion results. This is on page 17. If I go to page 18, it says only 180 results of 9/11. Only 180 results. But the same thing, omitted results included. So, but I promise you, it does the exact same thing. There's only like 300 some results on this one, and of September 11th. And it's like, well, Google is funneling your information clearly. Google is only showing you what they want to see. I mean, you could go down that road. Google is inflating their search results. I mean, could you inflate your, because this says 10 trillion. Right. And if I get all the way out, like stretch it all the way out, it again goes to like 400 results. So, I mean, if I was to sit here and say, like, if I was to tell somebody that wanted to be our sponsor that we've got 1.2 million views, and you go start clicking on stuff, and it turns out we only have 300 views,
Right.
Would you be a little upset if you were like,
yeah, right.
I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of the same thing. It seems
thing.
like it seems at least in the very least misleading.
Yeah.
And in the very worst, it's like,
but like you said, I mean, the first page is mostly ads.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's the other thing. It's like Google has gotten to the point where, I mean, you got to freaking scroll.
Oh, absolutely.
to
I was
find
looking for
anything that's not
tech
ads.
support for a product the other day, and I mean, just getting to the actual tech support page where it was past the ads was just irritating.
Yes. So I finally got to the end. 406 results total for September 11th. 400 results on Google for like the most talked about event in America, like modern American history. Only 400 pages, like 400, not 400 pages, 400 results, search results, 400 web pages that they're linked
that's
to.
That's ridiculous.
Like, so what's the point here? Like, it's a head scratcher, I know.
Yeah.
For at least, it's just like, what is Google doing here?
Right.
And part of it does make me ask, or like think and speculate that they're just corralling you to the information they want you to see. Because at least probably like the majority of those are probably just repeats of the same article, like slammed in your face.
Yeah, but and I know that even in the first year there had to be more than 400 articles on 9/11.
And the first day there was, the first fucking day on 9/11, there was more than 400 articles wrote about 9/11. So you have, and if you scroll back, I wonder what the date stamps are on these. Like September 11th, article 1 or 400 only goes back to like September 10th, 2017. And some of these are like from a day ago. So, I mean, I get that they're not in order, but still they're putting a cap on how far back you can go.
Yeah. Which I don't like that either.
No. So, but it's not just them. I looked up on Bing, and Bing has much fewer results listed. They say that they list up to 4.2 million, which is much less than 2 trillion or like 10 trillion. That's on page 14. If you click on page 15, watch what happens here. Click on 15. Just says there's no results for September 11th.
Wow.
It doesn't even say you've reached the end.
Wow.
Like, sorry, there's no results. Check your spelling, it says, or try different keywords.
Wow.
Yeah, it just like ceases to exist.
That's insane.
It's like they're not even trying.
Yeah.
You just hit the
It's
end
Bing.
of the road.
Go to Google.
That should be what it should just be, like a stamp that says go to Google
For
if you want more
further
results.
please go to Google.
Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think about all this? Besides, like, is Google or the search engine suppressing, or do you think they're inflating and the internet's not really as big as they're saying?
I think they're probably taking a lot of that and putting it behind a wall.
Yeah.
And just saying like, no, this is good for you. You don't need to see the rest of this. Right. So they're dictating what you can see.
So there's the dark web, there's the other one. What's the other one? It's not the dark web, but it's like the web that doesn't have like specific search results that you have to specifically type in like the address to get to. I can't think of what it's called, but if that's the case though, like if you're not on Google, you're not getting any traffic at all. Right. Unless you have your own power and reach where you can just be like, or like your own social media influence where you can be like, go to my website here. But none of that stuff that's out there is getting any traction.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you can't find it on Google, all that's going to do is make people like us say, why are you not letting us see this information?
I almost feel like because they're only letting you go back to 2017 on that 9/11
There are some
stuff.
2011 ones, but there's got to be stuff out there that's being suppressed. It's probably what you're going to say. That's just like, this was reported on, and they don't want you to read that anymore. They want you to read this.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's what I think is, again, they probably have like this trunk where they just take stuff and they put it in there, and they're like, okay, well, this stuff you don't really need to see this stuff. This isn't anything you're going to be interested in. This here, our algorithm has decided is probably what you're most going to be interested in.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's basically Google saying, like, well, we think this is what you're looking
Right.
for.
Yeah, this is what's most relevant for what you want to see.
And the article I want to read about this is about Google being dead. So we're not getting straight into the dead internet theory yet, but we are getting into the Google is dead theory because I mean, we venture down different rabbit holes as we get through this. So this one's titled Google Search is Dying. This is from lunarsoft.net. So, and it's basically saying that Google just kind of sucks now, but I think there's probably something more ominous to it because we know how Google is.
And we also know that Google is so much more than just a search engine,
right?
And that all the rabbit holes that come from Google, you know, in their ABC, Alphabet City, that type of stuff that they have going on.
Yeah, but this is basically saying, well, the age of search engine is basically dead, so you can't be surprised that Google is kind of going by the wayside. My freaking mouse just died.
Again?
It's been a while. It's been a while. Probably Google did it.
Damn it.
So this says Reddit is currently the most popular search engine. Did you know that? Reddit is, yeah. Like people search more stuff on Reddit now. Well, if you think about it, more people are trying to get other people's opinions on topics now than they are trying to get actual info. So it's just like you looking up your news on Facebook or on Twitter. I guarantee you the majority of people get their news off social media. So it's no surprise that Reddit is the most popular search engine.
And I'll be honest, most of the more interesting things I find out there are coming from Reddit.
I don't use Reddit because I just haven't got into it, but I should.
Well,
apparently.
Since I've moved over to stock trading, I get a lot of information from Reddit.
Oh, gotcha. You took Remzo's advice.
I did, yes.
So it says Reddit is currently the most popular search engine. The only people who don't know that is the team at Reddit, who can't be bothered to build a decent search interface. So instead, we resort to using Google and appending the word Reddit to the end of our queries. So people would just type in something in Google and type Reddit at the end of it. So it says, Paul Graham thinks the image means Reddit as a social media site still hasn't peaked. What it actually means is that the amount of people using Reddit as a search engine is growing. Thank you for that information.
Yeah, we couldn't figure that out.
So it says, why are people searching Reddit specifically? The short answer is that Google search results are clearly dying. The long answer is that most of the web has become too inauthentic to trust. I mean, that gets right into our dead internet theory that it's all fake. So it says, how do we know Google is dying? If you tried to search for a recipe or product review recently, I don't need to tell you that Google search results have gone to shit. You would have already noticed that the first few non-ad results are SEO optimized sites filled with affiliate links and ads. So if it's not a Google ad, it's just a bunch of junk full of its own ads. Probably Google ads.
Right.
Google still gives decent results for many other categories, especially when it comes to factual information. Does it, though? You might think Google results are pretty good for you, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. What you don't realize is that if you've been self-censoring yourself from searching most of the things you would have wanted to search. You already know subconsciously that Google isn't going to turn up good results. I'm far from the only one who thinks Google is dying. So they give a bunch of different quotes of people thinking that it's dying, that it's on the way out the door. So it says, why is Google dying? The first problem is ads, like we talked about. It says it's obvious that serving ads creates misaligned incentives for search engines. So no longer are you getting the results that have like the most viewed or like the most, it meets your needs the best based on the algorithms, or the most people that are asking these things are going to this site, which is what it should be. It should be like, well, most people who ask this question have clicked on this link, so we're going to bump that to the top. But instead, we have these paid for articles or paid for ads or whatever that automatically get bumped to the top. And sometimes you got like 2 or 3 pages of just ads. Before you even get to.
And I found that out the hard way probably about, 10 years ago. My wife had gotten a laptop, and I was trying to get on tech support for the laptop. And so I clicked on the first link thinking that was the tech support. And I ended up getting this third-party tech support company out of India.
I had that happen, and I accidentally paid them too.
I did too.
So, I've been there.
Yeah.
And all they did was run free malware software on my computer.
That you could have done on your own.
And charged me like $75 for it. And the problem is still there. And they're like, and I watched them. Because they remoted in. I watched them, and they put on like malware bytes and like something else. And they're like, And then like 2 hours later, they emailed me like, it's done. And I'm just like, no, you didn't do anything. You put on free malware software that I already have on this computer.
Yeah.
And so I demanded my money back. I lost like 10% of it, but that was my fault. Anyway, it goes on to say, unfortunately, the thoughts on failings of ad-based search engines read like an instruction manual for what Google did next. They've dialed it up to the max recently to squeeze out every last cent before their inevitable collapse. So they're saying ads are getting so much worse. Here's what a basic search looks like. They're showing here. So like the first page, just like ad, and all they were looking up was retool Slack integration, whatever the fuck that is.
Right.
But it's just like ads and ads and ads. The next thing is SEO, which is search. What is that?
Search engine
optimization.
Yeah.
Says there are tons of people whose sole job is to game their way to the top of Google. So it shouldn't be surprising when search results deteriorate in quality. So people will put specific things in their pages so it bumps them to the top of Google. Even if the page itself isn't all that relevant, they like put all these like in the coding of it or in the background, they'll put all the words that meet the qualifications to get them to the top. It says it shouldn't be surprising when search results deteriorate in quality. To be fair, this would probably be an issue with any search engine, but you would expect Google to be able to come up with less gameable algorithm. Here's the fun story about how one website gamed their way to the top. I don't want to read that.
Right, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Google doesn't give a shit
about
the quality of it. They're more concerned about the people that are paying to get their names to the top because that's how they make their money. They don't make money on you searching. They make money on the ad revenue. And if the ad revenue has nothing to freaking do with what you're searching, Google doesn't fucking care.
Right. Yeah.
They're big enough. They're again back to that too big to fail mentality. They're big enough. It's kind of like the cable company. I think everybody has the same problem with the cable company. You call them, their tech support sucks. They don't give a shit. And they basically tell you, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're going to go to satellite TV. Good luck with that.
Right, yeah.
Good luck with during a snowstorm, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
It's like, we don't care. Yeah, our prices are higher and we suck, but you will still keep doing it.
Yep.
Just like with Google. It's like, yeah, we're not giving you good quality, but are you going to go to Bing? What are you going to do? You're going to Bing it? Nobody says that.
You're going to ask Jeeves?
Good luck. We killed Jeeves. The third problem is AI, which is going to get into our
stuff.
Dead internet theory. So it says Google increasingly does not give you the results for what you typed in. It tries to be smart and figure out what you really meant. That's what you were talking about. In addition to personalizing things for you. If you really meant exactly what you typed, then all bets are off. Did you mean this? No, Google, I meant this. Well, I don't know what to tell you because
this is all I got.
I'm stumped. Even the exact match query operator doesn't give exact matches anymore. So, you remember when you used to be able to put quotes around a phrase? Because Google will look up things with words that are in it. And you used to be able to put it in quotes and it would look up exactly that statement.
Yeah.
And I've tried that recently and it
doesn't do it anymore.
It doesn't do jack shit. It's like, well, that was just, it probably just Google's quote. These are what quotation marks are for.
Yeah, right.
Says, why are people pending Reddit to their, well, we don't need to, we understand people want to go to Reddit because they probably feel like they're talking, like interacting with more real information.
Yeah.
They're going to find more real content on Reddit, which
without getting ads.
Yeah, which is more just, at least for a time, was more organic, like social media and people sharing stuff as they went. So I'm guessing that's probably been overhauled by bots too. So, but it says there's a fun conspiracy theory that popped up recently called the dead internet theory, which we're going to talk about. The claim is basically that most of the internet is bots. There aren't real people here anymore. This isn't true yet, but it reflects some general sense that the authentic web is gone. The SEO marketers gaming their way to the top of every Google search result might as well be robots. Everything is commercialized. someone's always trying to sell you something, whether they're a bot or a human. Again, it comes down to what we were saying. It's like, at a certain point, it doesn't matter if it's a bot or not a bot, if they're all doing the same thing. If they're trying to sell you shit or trying to convince you that the group think is the way to think, then they're basically a bot anyway. No authenticity is basically what it's saying. So how can we regain authenticity? What if you want to know what a genuine real-life human being thinks about the latest Lenovo laptop? So basically, how do you find out real people's opinions on like this laptop or this idea? It says you append Reddit to your query, or Hacker News, or Stack Overflow, or some other community that you trust. Google is dead, basically says. It says long live Google plus site reddit.com. So that's kind of a shallow look, but that gets into the whole it kind of briefly looks at Google and what we were talking about, but it doesn't even address the whole what we were saying about the 9.8 trillion or billion pages that all of a sudden jumps down to like 400. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with commercialization, like the corporatization of it and the ad revenue coming from it. They only want you to see what the people that are paying the dollars want you to see. So they're not going to kick you to some free ad of some free information when they can make revenue off of this pay for ad over here. So thoughts?
So it's shitty. I mean, because again, it's acting as a gatekeeper for people. You know,
Very much so.
It's being that dick sheriff in the Wild West that doesn't allow guns in his town. It's like, well, we know this is what you're looking for, but this is what we can offer you, and you got to deal with it because this is what we've deemed necessary for you.
Yeah, and I think a lot is financially generated, but a lot is like socially motivated. And I think everything is dollar generated. I think all the social motivation, all the social redirection.
But it didn't used to be like that.
No, but I'm just saying, I think even all the social ideologies that they're coming up, like the woke ideologies, I think corporations are only jumping on those for dollars.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not to boost equality amongst us peons down here. No, it's just to make them look relevant and boost their dollars and get you to buy into something or pay and subscribe into something or I don't know. It's all about dollars. Control and dollars is what it comes down
and there's no real equality in the internet anymore. Not like there used to be.
I feel like in like 2000 or whatever year Google came out, you could probably find more. The year 2000, you could have found more search results for 9/11 in 2001 than you can today.
Well, I mean, for instance,
which was before 9/11.
If I were to look up like say X-Men characters, right? I mean, there used to be hundreds and hundreds of pages that of people that would create like bios and all this stuff for different characters. Now you go in there and all you're going to get is the Marvel stuff,
because
or the Marvel wiki, or I mean, you don't get the organic stuff that people put time into working on anymore.
It's like creativity has gone and fucking died completely.
There's no place for it anymore.
I mean, you can go out and make whatever web page you want, but nobody's gonna freaking find that shit anymore.
They won't.
You're just lost in the deep web. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
There's dark web, and deep web is like internet sites that you don't just stumble on in search engines. It's just like the whatever billsmarvelcharacters.com where you're not going to pop up on a search engine. It's out there. You got to direct it basically by an IP address or a domain name.
Back in the day that would have popped up.
So. And it comes down to back to the wild web, the wild web I was talking about. It's basically being like fenced in and corralled. Like we don't want the cows and the horses and stuff just wandering freely. And I mean, that's dangerous for not only the people, but also for the cows. So we got to put them in these pens and like corral them where to go, because this is what we see as safe and efficient, like efficient farming and stuff that inevitably starves people. But like this is the efficient use of the web. And I'm sure a lot of it comes with like the speeding up of the internet. Like a lot of space is being held by like videos and things
Mhm.
like that. And so you got to make room for that, and in order for it to get to you as quickly as our like ADD brains need it, like right now, immediate desires.
Right.
We can't have all this other shit just like gumming up the pathways, especially stuff that you're not going to get a lot of traction. You're not going to get a lot of dollars for. We got to save the main roads for the stuff, the pay for stuff.
Yeah. So you don't get the creativity. You don't get the originality.
Right.
All you get is the carbon copy version.
So you think it's a profit thing, and or is it more of a
Absolutely it is.
nefarious thing?
Both.
Or is it both? Do
Little
they
bit
go
of
hand
both.
in hand?
Yeah, I think part of it is a big part of it is, again, corporations. This is how they make their money. This is what they're pushing. But the other part of it is, if you want to direct groupthink, right? You want to direct that what's trendy, or what's the bubble that everybody needs to be thinking.
Yeah.
And that this is the way to do it.
What is it called? We talked about this, like the thing that's going on right now that everybody talks about. The current thing. Yeah. So we got to save room for the current thing to get everybody talking about that. And that I want to talk more about as we talk about the other theory, which is the dead internet theory, which is basically that the internet is ran primarily by bots and controlled. Like the majority of internet traffic is bots, whether that be the content you're seeing or the viewers that are going to the content. It's all freaking bots, ran by bots, for bots, by bots.
But you and I have talked about it, obviously, but the majority of people out there, do they care?
No.
Yeah. No. And that's why they're able to get away with it.
Because again, they're bots right along with the actual bots. If the bots are thinking what they're thinking, they don't care if the bots tell them what to think.
Right. Exactly.
So, we're too focused on not going against the grain to really even question whether or not this idea that's going on right now, is this an organically formed idea, which I don't think most trending ideas on the internet anymore are organic.
But see, and that bothers me in the fact that, okay, say you're in college and you have to do a paper, right? Everybody's going to go to the first site.
Yeah.
Right.
All the papers are going to be the fucking same.
Right.
With
maybe
better or worse grammar.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And occasionally you'll get a professor that says, don't use Wikipedia. Right. And then the kids really freak out. They're like, shit, I can't use Wikipedia. Now what? But like you said, they're going to hit the first 3-4 sites to get their source information. They're all going to be the same. It's not going to be any information that's original, and it's not going to be anything that's, controversial. It's nobody's going to try to step on any toes to get any real information.
I would always get really pissed off in online school because you always had to do those group posts, the discussion posts. Remember those?
Yeah.
Where you had to put so many sentences and stuff. And I would get so frustrated that you would actually have professors that would just want you to basically regurgitate the information that was in the book. It's like, well, you didn't talk about this, but I gave you asked a question and I answered the question based on what I read and the opinions in my head. I gave you my answer, but no, they wanted you to, you had to talk about this and mention this and this. It's like, but that's not what I think to answer that question.
Yeah, that's not truly discussion. Yeah. All I'm doing is throwing up what's in the book. There's no real discussion going on.
Then I had another online professor that, based on my discussion post, because I did the same thing, I would get argumentative with it or push back against the stuff that I'm reading. And he actually sent me an email after the class. He's like, I really enjoyed your posts and your papers and stuff. He's like, you should go to law school. You should be a lawyer. I was like, well, okay. At least some people appreciate that. But for the majority, I feel like most people just want to hear the information regurgitated. And that's
I remember every post was the same. It'd be like, wow, you make some really good points. I really like how you mentioned this. And then they will talk about it and then cite it from the book almost verbatim.
It's like we all read the same fucking book.
Like, why do we everybody's got the same fucking view?
Why do we got to give that's not discussion, like you said. But that's what discussion is on social media now. Right. Like discussion on social media is just like, wow, did you see so and so this an abomination or whatever. This person should be canceled. And it's just like everybody's saying, if you dare to say something against that.
Well, and what blows my mind, right? And I'm pretty sure this, I mean, when you said this, like different things started like popping up in my mind. And one of them was like when you see like okay, here's an example. When they're like going after Gina Carano. Right, being like, oh well, Gina Carano needs to be, she stepped on toes. Everybody's pissed. Everybody wants her fired.
Something against the grain,
right? Yeah, it's like everybody wants her fired, and it's like, well, I don't remember anybody saying they wanted her fired, or the Starbucks Christmas cup thing.
Right.
It's like Christians are infuriated with the Christmas. It's like who?
I mean, the only Christians I heard infuriated by it were the people that were regurgitating the shit that they were reading online.
And it's like, so I feel like they're trying to stir shit up.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I don't feel like it's organic at all, and so it's just like
it makes you wonder how many arguments online are actually organic arguments anymore. Especially when you start digging into some of the stuff. It's just like, well, you could be you could be arguing with a total bot that's just trying to get you pissed off or trying to gauge your response.
Yeah, is that men hate She-Hulk because She-Hulk is slamming misogynist men.
No man hates She-Hulk because the CGI is garbage.
I was gonna say I haven't even watched it because the preview looked like shit.
Yeah, it's like they talked about Ghostbusters too. It's like or the female Ghostbusters.
They all female,
it's like they only hate it because it's female cast. No, because you took a good movie and copied it and made it worse.
Yeah, right.
It had nothing to do with the cast.
Exactly.
It had to do with the fact that you made a shit product.
And so and so I see that stuff now, and after I read those articles and stuff, I'm like, okay, well, it's bot generated.
Yeah. So let's get into this before we completely lose people. What is this dead internet theory? I got this article here titled, "What is the dead internet theory? And what does I hate texting have to do with it?" I don't know what that.
I've never seen any.
No, it's basically
texting.
It's basically talking about like the female bots out there that are trying to like get you to like and like follow them and stuff. It's just like, I don't ever text anybody, so it means a lot that I'm texting you right now.
Gotcha.
It's basically
that's some Blade Runner shit right there.
It's blatant bottery. If you fall for that shit, then you have no hope in today's world.
Yeah, right.
So this says the so-called, I like how they say the so-called dead internet conspiracy theory, which posits that the internet in its current form is mostly generated by artificial intelligence networks, owes its existence to a thread on Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe. What it's all about and where does the recent popularity of I hate texting tweets fit into it? So this talks about that. Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe is, per the Atlantic's so-and-so, who cares? It's largely for discussing lo-fi hip-hop. So it's just like it's kind of like a Reddit, like an indie Reddit.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just like a chat
for
room
hipsters
or something. Yeah. It says, but it's also home to discussions about conspiracy theories, of which dead internet theory is one. In a thread titled Dead Internet Theory, most of the internet is fake, so far viewed just over 75,000 times, Agora Road user Illuminati Pirate details certain suspicions, hunches, and experiences he has regarding the state of the internet. The thread appeared in January 2021. So this idea goes
recent.
back. It goes back a year and a half, almost 2 years, but still, it's pretty recent, like you said. Says the internet feels empty and devoid of people, he writes. It is also devoid of content. Can you attest to that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That it just seems like it's, I mean, I'd say at most bland.
Yeah.
At most, if it's not empty of people, it's full of people that all just want to say the same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So it's basically just one person. And it's also devoid of content, it says.
Yeah.
Says he describes it as entirely sterile with nowhere to go and thing to do, see, read, or experience. Despite its massive size, he writes, the internet of 2021 is like a hot air balloon with nothing inside. The post by the original poster's own admission touches on many subjects. These include the early days of image-based bulletin boards, 4chan, fake people, the U.S. alleged recreation of the world depicted in Metal Gear Solid 2, and you guessed it, Mark Zuckerberg, which I think Mark Zuckerberg's probably a bot himself.
Right.
He's AI. Have you ever watched him talk?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like he just looks like a bot.
yeah.
Like he looks like a fake, like artificial intelligence that somebody just plays a video of. It's freaking weird and creepy. However, the central the message is that most of what we assume to be human-made internet content is actually produced by AI networks working in cahoots with secretive media influencers in order to manipulate people into being better, more submissive consumers.
That makes sense to me.
So basically, everything you see is to steer you towards being a better consumer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Better consumer of content, better like buyer, spend
Right.
more money on the right things. Think about the things that are going to get you to spend the money on the right things. It's basically AI like steering you towards what they want you to think. And I started to mention, we got off topic, about trends. It's always telling, and you see this every year. It's always telling when they're like, the upcoming trend of 2023 is going to be this. It's like, how can you say something's going to be a freaking trend before people start wearing it?
Right. Yeah.
Like it makes like obviously that is corporate marketing at its finest, but I mean it's not even like they're pretending, but they do get teeny boppers to be like, oh, this is the trend this year. It's like, you do realize that they said the trend for next year is going to be this.
Right. Yeah.
It's not that all your friends are wearing it. It's they are telling you what to be the trend. They're
like
they're forcing this upon you.
Who have you seen wear that?
Right. It says, goes on to say, is the internet really all bots? For the last 8 years, cybersecurity company Imperva has put together an annual bad bot report using data from its threat research lab. It offers, that sounds way cooler than it probably
really
actually
does.
is. The threat research lab gives out the bad bot report. It's not that cool at all. It offers readers a comprehensive look at the bad bot landscape. According to their latest report, traffic from bad bots amounted to over a quarter of all website traffic in 2020.
That's insane.
So over 25% of traffic going to all the websites on all of the interwebs was bad bots, not just bots in general, but bad bots. These are the ones like malicious ones that want to steal your information. They want to like phishing and things like that, or like Trojans and stuff. So a quarter of all web traffic is bad bots. It says the industries with the most bad bot traffic are telecom and ISP, internet service providers. They sit at 45.7% of their traffic is bad bots in 2020.
Holy crap.
It says even sports has 33.7% bad bots. News has only 33%. I guess depends on your definition of bad bots. Says, in the words of Atlantic writer Adrian LaFrance, writing in 2017, the internet is mostly bots. Some bots help refresh your Facebook feed and figure out how to rank Google searches for the ones that they want to sell you on. So they might not call those bad bots, but I'd say those are at least manipulative bots.
Absolutely.
Manipulative bastard bots. Other bots impersonate humans and carry out devastating DDoS attacks. At the same time, bots can...
What's a DDoS attack?
Just probably like, I don't know, malware type stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
At the same time, bots accounted for 52% of all web traffic. So that was 2017. In 2017, 52% of all web traffic was specifically bots, not real people. But it's saying it's gone down now because it's only at 40% now. But I have a hard time believing that.
I do too.
Said some of those bots call Twitter their home, which is where the I hate texting phrase is going to play. So I'm not going to get into that. That's basically what I said.
Yeah.
You see these posts that are like, I hate texting, just come live with me on Twitter.
Wow.
Or I hate texting first, but if I did, you're lucky. I've realized I hate texting. See me in person. Yeah, it's just get people to click on their profile. And so we all can kind of spot certain bot activity. Like when somebody sends you a friend request, and like, I mean, first of all, if you don't have like public content like we do, you shouldn't be just getting randos, like sending you requests. We get I get rando requests.
I do too.
Because we have a public presence out there, somewhat public presence. Like we ask you to send to follow our page, even if you're randos. Like we want the randos to follow us.
And I probably get like I probably get five to 10 like randos on Instagram trying to friend me.
Yeah, but you can spot them.
Yeah.
When you click accept and instantly they're messaging you.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you click
I don't even accept anymore. I
don't
just if I don't know them,
yeah.
I
always go to see if I have friends in common
Yep,
with
I'll
them.
go and see that
because
too. Yeah.
we have a big enough network of podcasters that if they probably found us through other podcasters. So unless
most of them are looking for love.
Yes. Or hey, I just saw your and it's like I said, as soon as you hit accept, it like pops up. It's like, hey, I was checking out your profile and you look really cute. It's like you're not real.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the first indication was you said I look cute. So clearly you're not real, bot. It's kind of like libertarians and how they suspect everybody's a fed. You should suspect everybody's a bot, especially if they're telling you you look cute.
Right.
Normal women don't just reach out. That's what guys do, okay?
Unless they're a bot or they want money.
Yeah. Guys unsolicitedly will reach out to girls and say, hey, you look cute. Girls don't do that to guys because there's more men out there looking for love than women out. The women don't give a shit. So
they don't need to reach out.
Yeah, if they reach out to you, it's a bot. Don't get sucked into this, guys. If you didn't know that, this is a public service announcement. Now, she's not real. She's not. So what
someplace someone's like, oh.
now we gotta think that technology is advancing in some forms. So what happens when it starts getting less and less possible to spot the bots? What if the bots are waiting a little longer to reach out, or maybe they start conversation a little less like in your face, and it's just like or starts liking some of your posts here and there, which I've seen that too. I'll see like several, but you still know it's
I can tell because on my Instagram, like majority of my pictures are from Break the Bell.
Yeah.
And so when I have someone liking the Break the Bell, like
just like
just
all in a row.
Just going through liking all the my first 5 pictures, which are all Break the Bell.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, really?
Yeah. you still can spot them, but again, what happens when you can no longer spot the bots?
Well, like what happens? That's the thing. They're learning, so they're going to get better.
Yeah, and especially if they're AI bots, they're going to be like, well, that didn't work. How can I? Maybe the bots actually are looking for love. Maybe they think they are real. Like we said, maybe we're bots that think we're real.
That's possible.
And they just really want love, and we're denying them the love.
And we're single-handedly going to start World War III with the bots because nobody wants to love them.
all they needed was what was it? Vladimir Putin just needed a good mom.
Yeah.
Maybe these bots just need good love.
I think so. Yes.
So then on the other hand, what happens when the bots are, as this theory is saying, are the majority of the internet?
Yeah.
Like the internet is primarily bots, and whether they think they're bots or know they're bots, but you're just conversing with or arguing with or battling it out with bots, and it's just not real life, and we're just getting sucked into this delusion of botdom.
And that's what a lot of it's becoming.
So let's see if there's anything else in this article. I think that was so. It says it's just talking about the I hate texting part, but it says inevitably conversations about dead internet theory end up going round in circles. I am real, you are real, but proving the internet user's realness en masse is no easy feat. So this doesn't get too much deeper than that, but you can kind of see the point that it's going with there.
Yeah.
So let's say, based on this theory, that the majority of the internet's bots, obviously you can people take advantage of that. Like how many content users go out and buy viewers? How many do you know of, and how many do you think is doing it and not telling you?
Oh, yeah.
Like how much content is out there that you're just like, this is so shitty. How do they have 20 million views?
Right. Yeah.
Like you look at some of these YouTubers out there that are famous for doing stupid shit. It's like you got 20 million views for this, and my son will sit there and watch them. So I get that there are people out there that are stupid enough to watch them, like my 12-year-old son. But so 20 million views, like enough that they're generating enough wealth to live in these like big like LA mansions and shit just because of YouTube views.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think any of that's organic growth?
No.
Do you think like how many musicians do you think that have a name for themselves? Do you think they're buying views for their content? I mean, musicians are getting shittier by the
No,
day.
yeah, right, no doubt.
And they're still staying on the top of the
Yeah,
charts.
but
It's like,
they have record labels that will go out and buy viewers.
yeah,
from.
I don't think
Yeah.
they're necessarily
Right.
doing it, but
No.
I guarantee you their labels are doing
Absolutely.
it so they can be like, hey, you got 20 million
Right.
views.
Or they'll do what U2 did and just give away their album. Right?
I mean, in a way, that does generate actual organic views, because
Yeah.
what that does is going to put you up in the algorithms, which
Yeah.
is going to get seen by more people.
Right.
So it's kind of like starting this will date most people, like your checkbook starting, like they always tell you to not start at the number 1, because
Right.
they're going to be like, oh, they're going to think you just opened a new account and they're not going to have
Yeah.
faith in you. So start your checkbook at number like 200.
Yeah.
So they think that you've been doing this
for
a
a while.
while.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing here. It's kind of like that. It's just like, let's start our baseline at 2 million, and then we could probably generate like another 2 million,
Yeah.
and you're getting good money
Right.
for it, because you're not getting the 4 million, but you at least got 2 million that you may not have got if you started at 0.
Right. Yeah.
Because
right.
you don't have any credibility if you come out and your YouTube viewers
Yeah.
is at like 10.
Mhm.
Like nobody, that's not going to get you up
Mhm.
in front of a bunch of people, no matter how famous you are. It's not, if you start out with 1, it's going to take a little bit longer to get your
Mhm.
name up there.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I don't know what I think. Like, do you think that's a good thing? That like, what do you think
No.
about that?
No, because it's especially something like that. You know, it needs to. If it's not organic, right? If it's not really led by people, then I mean, you're lying to people, right? For instance, when I was looking for a pool a couple years ago,
Mhm.
right? And there was a company that was selling a pool, and so I looked at the reviews.
You
Reviews
can't
looked
even
good.
take the reviews.
Oh no,
for-
you can't. But at the time, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I bought this pool, and then like a couple weeks go by. It was supposed to be delivered. Nothing happened. All of a sudden, I get a message says, "We're backed up.
Mm.
Right? We won't be able to get the pool to you till October." I'm like,
Yep.
okay, well, I don't need the pool by October. Can I get my money back? Turned out it was a company in China, whereas it seemed like it was like an American, but and all the reviews looked like they were all based, American. And so I followed the reviews, and like you said, you can't follow those because a lot of the reviews are either bot made or even corporate made, so it's but you're lying to people.
There are companies out there, like Amazon companies, that will actually send people a free product to just review, so they can because a lot of people anymore only take the reviews at if somebody posts a picture that they own it, so
sure.
it's like a verified review.
Mhm.
And so they will send free products to randos who have no interest in buying this, just to review it, so people will go.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess that's better than fake reviews, but
Right,
still.
yeah, right. But if someone doesn't know how to work something,
Yeah, right. So let's just say, for example, I mean, like how much of the transaction, like money like circulation going around the internet is actual real?
Right.
Like it all seems kind of like a pyramid scheme to me, because let's say like we got a podcast, or like somebody that has more money, like bigger following than us, has a podcast. And again, your sponsors are based on your amount of views. So that podcaster goes out and pays a company to give them fake views.
Right.
So now this company that wants to sponsor them is like, oh, they've got like 5,000 views. We're going to sponsor them. Well, on one hand, they're going to be pissed off because 5,000 views isn't generating them any revenue. But it could be a vicious cycle where that sponsor is getting their own fake traffic. They're getting their own fake reviews, which is generating their own fake. Like, so it's almost like a pyramid scheme where it's just like, well, we're getting fake views so we can get this sponsor who's getting their fake reviews. So that boosts their their corporate investors, because so they don't actually care about sales because they go out and buy their own bots. So then corporate investors are like, oh, that looks really good. So they invest more money into that. And it's just like a vicious like pyramid scheme of just some bot kingdom online, where it's just like, bots reviewing bots, like making products, selling products to bots at the end of the day. Like, when does it get to that point where the whole internet is just bots selling to bots and nothing is actually being sold,
Right.
but it's just going in a vicious circle?
Yeah, no, it's around the corner.
Yeah, or if it's not already there, it's just like, well, this company.
But then it'll come up and be like, this product's been sold over 1 million times.
Yeah, well, exactly that, and it'll generate sales to like people like us that are looking at that. It's like, oh, this has really good ratings. I mean, they're not going to generate the millions of sales, but that puts them up in the search engine results, the SEOs, and puts them up in being sponsors and stuff. And it's just if we're not there already, we're going to be there. And it's just pointing people at buying shit is basically what it is.
And I mean, you see that on Facebook, right? I mean, how many times do you get these ads pop up on Facebook and you're like, what the hell is that? You know, and so I mean I can go through my page and I mean it's just constantly just stuff that is just being put on there.
Right. So we are about due for a break. I want to get into the next part, which is this. It's still part of this dead internet theory, but YouTube apparently, like employees of YouTube at one point, it got to the point where it was like 52% of YouTube traffic was bot traffic, and certain employees at YouTube actually had this fear that there was going to be this inversion.
Oh yes,
where like the bots were going to take over. It's basically because they came up with algorithms, AI, to track whether or not you were bots, AI, or humans. Well, they were afraid it was going to get to the point where the bots were so prominent, so much more prominent than the actual people, that their algorithms were going to think that the actual people were the bots and the bots were the actual people, and like kick everybody that was actually real out of.
Yeah.
So that was actually a legitimate fear of YouTube. So I want to talk a little bit about that when we come back. And then obviously we got to get into AI taking over the world.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're just going to keep going down the insanity loophole if we're not bots by the time we get back. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Oh, come on. Everything's going so slow.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remso W. Martinez at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remso W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net.
You've got too much on your mind to be so conscious and not just believing every sorry good away. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold a candle like vigil for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. situation and begin to get back to you. We hold a candle like takeover for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. You're still alive, but you've been dead inside for a long time. And I understand why. But you did this to yourself. You did this to them. You don't even remember the name. Why should anybody remember you? Why should anyone give you another shot? You know you won't. You know you deserve to be forgotten. Now you're everything you always despise. You always reveal to your own lies. All this effort to cover up what you've done. We already know. We already see. Wake up and be better before you get to that side. We address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold a candle like takeover for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. I know it's not a good time for you. You've got too much on your mind to be so conscious and not just believing every sorry gone away. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold a candle like takeover for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. Because I know you can handle it. To face the truth of the matter, it's still so much better to leave the light than drag it to your grave. Because you see what to make of this. How you can turn your own tables and work this. And take advantage of your failure like you play to anyway. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold a candle like takeover for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. You're still alive, but you've been dead inside for a long time. And I understand why. But you did this to yourself. You did this to them. You don't even remember the name. Why should anybody remember you? Why should anyone give you another shot? You know you won't. You know you deserve to be forgotten. Now you're everything you always despise. You always reveal to your own lies. All this effort to cover up what you've done. We already know. We already see. Wake up and be better before you get to that side. We address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold a candle like takeover for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between.
All right, we're back. At least I think we're back. Hey, we're not back. I can't hear you. Your mic's not in front of your face, so I can't even hear you.
Okay.
Maybe you're not back. I'm back.
Not. I'm not.
I don't even know if we're here. Are we real? Are we actual entities? If you guys know, let us know. If you think we're bots, let us know because we're not aware of that fact.
I don't even think I'm hungry anymore.
Yes. So we're talking about the dead internet, talking about the fact that the internet is full of just artificial traffic, artificial posts, interactions, artificial likes, views. I mean, if somebody can get me a bunch of artificial likes and subscribes, I'd be fine with that. But
Right.
I'm not going to pay for them. But
But I mean, think about it. Say like, let's say like Disney, right? Disney wants to generate some interest in She-Hulk, so they put something out there that men hate She-Hulk, right?
oh yeah,
and
even if you just get people talking about
right,
it,
yeah, it's going to
Artificial
generate.
conversation.
Yeah, it's gonna generate. The algorithm is going to get going. It's going to start directing people to these different articles, and
Yeah,
it's going
and-
to get people curious.
you get people to watch it just to be
Right.
like, well, I want to see why men hate She-Hulk,
Right,
see
yeah.
how bad it is. It's like, or again, back to like, I don't know, a podcast, like somebody way bigger than us. It's like, I want to get to the top of the Apple algorithm, so I'm going to pay for some subs, or I'm going to pay for some reviews because Apple's algorithm is based on like 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pay for like 1,000 5-star reviews. All of a sudden we're bumped up, and then we can generate more sponsor revenue. We can actually be in front of more people to generate more. I guess you could call it more organic views, but it's not organic. But I mean, is it really a crime to like give yourself that boost? Again, it's like starting
Right,
your
yeah.
checkbook at like 200. Is that a crime?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you can do it, then yeah, I mean, go for it. But at the same time, it takes away that whole, internet is free and open space.
Yeah, it's
thing,
like
right?
it
Because-
takes away the competition. It's no
Yeah.
longer like you got to be good to get on top. You got to
Yeah.
just have the
Because now
most
you
dollars
have-
paid.
Using the Wild West analogy, instead of somebody going out there in a wagon train trying to, start everything on their own, you have someone going out there with a pocket full of gold and a couple rifles, and
Yeah.
and
And it's like, give me this.
yeah, right, exactly.
All this area here, this is mine. That's
it's like
that was the American way anyway.
Well,
if
that's
you
true,
think
yeah,
about it,
right.
that's what it turned into. Is
Yeah.
some guys with big pocketbooks ended up going out to the Wild West and be like, "This, I'm naming this after me now. This is
Yeah.
mine." I mean, read a book once in a while. You'll see how.
Mm,
I mean, that's capitalism at its finest, I guess you could say. But still, it takes away from the quality of content that's on the internet and turns into who's willing to pay the
Right.
most to get their name at
and
the
we
top.
know that the people that pay the most are also the most unoriginal.
Usually,
you lose all the artisticness that
But-
comes there.
But do you
because
think Google or Facebook or YouTube cares about
Oh,
that and the
no, hell
quality
no.
of it? No,
No.
they're at the end of the day, ultimately, they just care about
Yeah.
who's paying,
and
the
they don't
most.
care about the quality either. The quality and the fairness. They don't care.
Do you think Google cares if some third party pays to bump up your SEOs and your views to get you to the top? Do you think,
No.
even though they're not the ones that got you there?
No.
No, because then they can still put ads
was
all
gonna
over your
say,
shit
yeah.
and generate more revenue.
I was gonna say,
All
as
they
long
care
as they
about is
get
the
paid,
dollar.
that's all they care.
Yes. So I alluded to this whole inversion part of the dead internet theory, which is where the AI kind of flip roles with the people,
Mm-hmm.
and they are now the ones in charge. They're now kicking out people instead of the bots because the bots look more real.
Right.
Is more of the common function, like the way people function, like the interactors function. It's more common that they're bots.
Yeah.
So they see those as the normal, and then like actual human interaction looks fake to them.
Yeah.
And so they start kicking out the real people.
Right.
And now what point does YouTube then just become bots watching videos made by bots, published
That
by
sounds
bots?
horrible.
Yes. So this article here is off medium.com, but it's written by a guy named Christopher Kirby, who's got a PhD, no less. So he's got to know what he's talking about.
Sounds like a bot.
Yeah, probably. It says the Internet of Things, big data, and the inversion, or netizenship and democracy as a way of life. That's the sub-
Netizenship is an interesting terminology,
Right.
If when you read it, it's like you're, citizen based on network, the net.
Well, that gets into like your social credit score and things like that. I mean, I feel like it's getting to the point, if it's not there already, that your status on the web, on social media, is more important to you than your citizenship in your prospective country, because they've made it to be the most important thing, and that's where social credit scores come in. And it's just like you're going to get bumped to the bottom of the line if you don't get so many likes on your posts.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. So it says the internet is fake, or at least it's full of fake. Go figure. Of course, for anyone who's ever been catfished. Have you been catfished on the internet?
I have not.
No? Well, you're doing better than some. Duped by a sock puppet. I want to know what that is.
I know.
Or taken in the pretenses of an AstroTurf campaign. This isn't exactly news. I don't know what that means, but what's an AstroTurf campaign? If you know, comment, send us a message, something, whatever an AstroTurf campaign is. I guess I could Google it, but I'll probably get fake results. Says, if you've ever wondered about how to handle shenanigans, then this is the series for you. The evolution of the internet from Web 1.0, hey, have you heard about this email thing, to Web 3.0, hey, my toaster just messaged my watch that my breakfast is ready. It's a really short story of how a network of static information portals became an interactive semantic network of user-generated data, and ipso facto, a hot mess of dissimulation and machination. Says, under the big data in our Internet of Things, as Web 3.0 is sometimes called, or IoT, it's increasingly difficult to discern what's real from what's a simulation, which we could be living in a simulation right now.
I think we are.
One reason for this is the sheer volume of machine-generated data. As the image below indicates, since 2014, less than half of the annual traffic on the internet has been created by humans. So we're not even talking about internet interaction now, like internet, like visiting of web pages we talked about was like about 40% or something like that was bots. We're talking about content created. Less than half of it was created by humans, apparently.
Crazy.
Yes. So it says, since there's just too much data for human moderators to police, most sites employ algorithms to spot and block bot-generated traffic. But therein lies the rub. When there's more bot traffic than human traffic, there's a risk that such algorithms, which rely on machine learning, will begin to flag human-generated traffic as anomalous. Max Reed, who writes for the New York Magazine's Intelligencer, has dubbed this moment when every real person on the internet is automatically deemed to be fake, and he deems it the inversion. He explains where he got the name. He says, for a period of time in 2013, a full half of YouTube traffic was bots. So you're talking 9 years ago.
That's crazy.
Masquerading as people, a portion so high that employees feared an inflection point after which YouTube systems for detecting fraudulent traffic would begin to regard bot traffic as real and human traffic as fake. They called this hypothetical event the inversion. So you're talking not conspiracy theories. You're talking about
this actually happened.
Like you're talking YouTube's employees were like, guys, we gotta kick this in the ass because they're going to take over our site here.
Yeah. I mean, what would happen if people got kicked off the internet because the bots no longer thought they were real?
I mean, is this happening now? I mean, people get kicked off all the time for algorithms.
That's
true. How many times do you see things that come up regarded as Russian fake propaganda?
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is just something that we think. It's not Russian fake propaganda, but it's getting flagged as such. Says, as Reed suggests, that guy, this isn't just a matter of algorithmic overreach. Rather, we run the risk of a flesh and blood human internet user dismissing one another as mere bots too. So again, back to what I was saying about libertarians call it like suspecting everybody's a Fed.
Right.
Well, we're getting to the point where you have to suspect that everybody's a bot, even if they're people or not. If they come out and say something, especially if it's outside the norm, if you're programmed to think the norm, you're going to be like, hey, bot, get out of here.
Yeah.
You're not going with, even though logic would tell you that a bot would like fall in line with the narrative, not go
so if you were to
outside.
actually come out and ask and be like, hey, are you a bot? I mean,
but you got to put in like, hey, what are these special characters? Type this so I know you're not a bot.
right.
when do the bots figure out how to
type in the special characters? Right. Yeah.
Yes. So like at that point, the world is fucked. Once they can't, once they figure out the CAPTCHA, letter sequence, then we're screwed.
Yeah. Then it's Skynet.
Yeah,
they take over the world.
The inversion has happened once they figure out the CAPTCHA. So hopefully that never happens. Hopefully it never gets down that dark path that they figure out how to bypass CAPTCHA. Says in some ways this sort of inversion has already happened. One benign example cited by Reed on an interview occurred in late 2018 when many online users called for a boycott against Netflix for allegedly astroturfing a meme campaign about the film Bird Box. So astroturfing, I think, is when they make this fake like trend. It's kind of like the dark, what we say about the dark Brandon trend, how the White House kind of like pushed this out and made it kind of viral to promote their thing. So basically in 2018, a bunch of users said that Netflix was generating this viral content just to promote Bird Box, but it turned out that the meme had been created by actual fans of the film, not Netflix.
Deceptive practice of presenting an orchestrated marketing or public relations campaign in the guise of unsolicited comments from members of the public.
Dark Brandon.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. Even though it didn't go very far, I would definitely call that astroturfing.
Oh, definitely.
Says, of course, there are much less innocuous examples in the political sphere, which underscores the importance of addressing these issues. And our current crisis regarding COVID-19 has demonstrated how our virtual world can be used either towards very real benefit or incredible detriment. So where does that leave us? We obviously can't scrap the whole thing. We fucking could.
We could.
But again, people would probably die.
Right.
They would die. It says, Reed has aptly summed up our predicament. The fakeness of the post-inversion internet is less a calculable falsehood and more a particular quality of experience. The uncanny sense that you encounter online, what you encounter online is not real, but is also undeniably not fake. Indeed, may be both at once or in succession. So it can be not fake and not real at the same time, apparently.
And now my mind is blown.
Yeah, it says, as you turn it over in your head. I don't know, but let's go on, I guess. It says, but in the face of such duality, perhaps turning it over in our heads is precisely what's needed. A good netizen or citizen of the net needs to practice mindfulness and grace, and while maintaining a healthy dose of skepticism. That's a bit of philosophical tightrope, but it can be done. And what follows, I'll discuss now. But first, let's consider why we need to practice mindfulness about what we're encountering online. And this gets into that Lil Michaela, the fake, the bot chick, the bot influencer, that had her own like Facebook account, and she was an influencer.
Yeah.
One example of that uncanny real-fake duality Max Reed has identified might be found on the Instagram profile of Michaela Souza, a.k.a. Lil Michaela, a 19-year-old model and influencer who also claims to be an artificial intelligent bot. So this story is freaking bizarre.
Yeah, it is. How do you spell that? Because I'm going to look.
Miquela. First appearing on Instagram in 2016, Michaela's account featured photo shoots with celebrities, SoundCloud tracks, and progressive political activism. So they photoshopped her in with celebrities. They made up some music, bought music to play, and made her an activist. Says though speculation about her realness existed from the outset, she nevertheless gained a following in the millions, eventually being outed as a bot in 2018 during a feud with another Instagram influencer who also claimed to be a bot. So one Instagram bot outed the other Instagram bot and said, "No, bitch, you're a bot. You're not real. People shouldn't be following you because you're a bot. Stop pretending to not be a bot." That's insane. This was a bot that was saying all this stuff, apparently. Says this only caused Michaela's star to rise higher as she insisted she had no idea she wasn't a real person.
That's insane.
So people started following her harder.
Yeah, because they thought it was like, this is like movie type shit, right?
Yeah.
Like the AI thinks it's a real person.
Mm-hmm. Goes on to say followers
Johnny 5 is alive.
followers were riveted by her story and lined up behind their keyboards to voice their support. How much of this is going on now? But
Oh, yeah.
not even in necessarily like legit bots, but people that aren't real personalities. Like your online personality is not who you are 99% of the time. The person you're talking to is not the person behind that keyboard. They're making up this facade of who they are, and people will voice their support for it and like get behind them and stuff. And it's just like they know this person's a bot.
Oh yeah.
And this whole backstory that I didn't even know I was a bot.
Right.
I mean, people are like, oh, she's so brave.
That's gonna be a fucking movie.
Yes, she's so brave. We got to support her.
Yeah.
Equal rights for bots.
It's coming. It's coming.
Especially as her post began to express a longing for liberation from her creators at Brud, a company purported to specialize in AI research. So this gets fucking dumb. Says since then, Michaela has embraced her identity, AI identity, and seemingly reconciled with Brud. She's also featured in video ads for Calvin Klein with real influencers like Bella Hadid. She's attended Coachella as a host for YouTube Music and joined Samsung Galaxy's team to pitch their line of smartphones. So she's making money now.
Yeah. Who gets the money?
HUD or Brud, whatever it was called.
That's crazy.
Says, of course, even the claims regarding Michaela's sentience as an AI bot aren't actually real. It's part of a new genre of fictional storytelling. So Brud just came out and made this backstory, made this. So it's real people capitalizing on a fake person that thinks it's a real person.
Yeah.
Called out by a fake person.
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that one.
Right. I know.
And people are supporting this.
This is the world we live in now.
People are getting behind this fake story. Like, obviously I read this. It's like this AI thing. It's like, no, it doesn't. Somebody was like, hey, let's make this.
Somebody scripted it.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, we can run with this.
Yes. It says, Michaela's handlers at Brud have built a fairly elaborate backstory and fictional universe around her. Look at this like timeline of events. It says Daniel Kane launched Kane Intelligence, an artificial intelligence consulting firm, in 2002. He began building sentient robot that would become Michaela. In about circa 2010, it looks like Brud, an AI and robotics company, was founded. Kane contacted Brud to assist in completing the Michaela project. So there's a backstory. This backstory is not even real here. They made up this backstory about Michaela.
That's insane.
But then again, Michaela has so it doesn't matter about all this shit because Michaela has raised and donated hundreds of thousands of dollars towards LGBTQ plus and Black Lives Matter awareness.
That's crazy.
And as one of her millions of Instagram followers put it shortly after her identity was exposed, I know this is crazy about you, even though you are robotically, everything else about you is human. This is the fucking world we live in.
Yeah.
So does it matter even that the entire internet is taken over bots? Because people want this. People want like to support something. Like, is that how lame our lives have become?
So yeah, Michaela Souza, singer/model.
No,
19.
No, it's not.
I am a robot. Machine out now.
So that's her song that's out now.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So at least she's admitting to it. So this part is interesting to me, and this says a lot about the world we live in. It says, Lil Michaela holds up a mirror to the way in which technology has morphed our own constructions of self. We don't yet live in a world where realistic-looking fake humans roam the streets, but in the meantime, technology transformed us into fake-looking real humans. We spend so much of our time pretending that hip parties and cool people are on the organic part of our lives that we aren't curating the narratives we put out in the world. What a perverse relief it would be to confess that everything is fake. So it's basically calling out everybody on social media. It's like you live this life that's not your life. You spend all this time trying to portray this fake life on Instagram while you're sitting in your fucking house doing jack shit, like depressed with yourself.
Right.
But living day to day off the dopamine effect of a like or like a thumbs up or a smiley face or a heart emoji or something like that. And that's all it is. It's just like, I want people to think that I'm more interesting than I am. So really, who's more at fault? The fake person, the person that fakes its life online, or the fake person online that's pretending to be a person? Like, which one's worse?
Well, definitely the fake person in the house. But it's the culture that we've created, that we've let take us over, right? I mean, it's the people that live for that Facebook like, for that TikTok, views, the YouTube views, the people that want that need that dopamine shot, that instant gratification from social media rather than going out and living your fucking life.
Well, not even just the instant gratification. It's even the need to conform, like
The approval, right?
Like the approval, like the need to be part of this whole group mentality, this group think mindset.
Yeah.
We all act the same. We all dress the same. We all post the same shit. If we don't, then we feel out of place. And at the end of the day, who cares if the internet's a bunch of bots? Because we've just turned ourselves into freaking bots.
Damn, that's deep.
Says, truly, this is even more dizzying sort of inversion where people we know to be fake make the rest of us feel like total phonies. So imagine that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even the bots that are kicking us off YouTube because they think we're fake. The people that we know are being fake online are telling us that we're fake, and we feel like we got to be more fake like them so we feel more real ourselves. How?
Yes. I feel like we need to be smoking a joint.
Yes. This is either a like super deep philosophical, like Platonian type discussion, or B, like super pothead type discussion, or a combo of the two.
Line.
Yeah.
It's a thin line.
It really is. So it's like social media has just basically made us all freaking bots on our own.
Yes.
Right. So we're spending all this time talking about how the internet is a bunch of bots while we are just turning into bots on our own.
Yeah.
And the whole irony of this whole conversation is most like a lot of the videos I watched about the internet just being a bunch of bots had like hundreds of thousands of views. It's like, how do I know you're not a bot?
Right, yeah.
It's like, how do I know you're not just telling me the things that you want me to hear because you're a bot? It's like, you're making me question you right now. It's like, you're not doing yourselves a favor. So that's back to like influencers then, because we got this a classic example of an AI influencer that people are probably getting their fashion tips from influencers.
Yeah.
But we have real influencers that, again, I don't think any like influencer is like organic, homegrown. Like I made like any trending YouTuber. I don't think organically got there.
No.
Whether or not they paid for a bunch of views the way we said, or whether or not, I think honestly, I have this kind of running theory in my head that corporations like created, not like physically created, but built up these specific. They went out and found people that they're like, hey, these people have these like really like influential type personalities. Let's throw a lot of money at their page. Let's use them to sell product or to wear our clothes. But you don't even have to have them be like, this show was brought to you by Nike. No, you just got to put that guy in a Nike shirt.
Absolutely.
And go have him jump on a trampoline and do some stupid
have
shit.
Him sit there and drink White Claw. And people are like, oh, damn, that's that person looks cool. I want to be like them. I'm going to drink White Claw and wear Uggs.
Well, you always see those because I'll be listening in the background as my son watches them. You'll see like such and such company just sent me this dirt bike. It's like, you're a millionaire. Why is that company sending you a dirt bike? Well, because they want you to
try it. Yeah.
To influence, push people to buy that dirt bike. Make kids think, hey, this is what I need to be that guy. Yeah. I need this, right? I need to wear this. I need to talk like this, act like this. I need to wear those shoes. I need to drive that car. That's all it is. I don't think those people are organically created. I think they are a product of a system. They are a marketing campaign.
Absolutely.
I don't even know if they know that.
Doubtful. I doubt it.
They probably think that they became something, but some corporation out there like bought into what they were doing and is using them as a marketing campaign.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that comes down to even musicians, like I was talking, like how hard is it for an indie musician or like a brand new musician to get their name up on the charts when somebody with like millions of dollars can just pay for a bunch of likes to get their name out in front of people so they can influence the charts.
Right.
It's like the people that already have the money that don't necessarily need to be in the top 200 again. They're just influencing the system through whatever, manipulating the system.
Or I mean, now, I mean, they take a song and they put it on Fortnite, or they put in the background of a TikTok video that's gone viral, right? And that song, right? I mean, shoots to the top. They don't even know who sings it,
right?
But because they keep listening to the song on TikTok or a YouTube reel or whatever, it just shoots right to the top. It happens all the time where my daughter will, be like talking about a song, and I won't even know what she's talking about. But it's like she's like, "Oh yeah, it's everywhere," and
like everybody. How do you not know about this, Dad?
Yeah, right.
It's the most popular song on
Right.
in the world right now. It's like, when did it come out? Oh, like 2 days ago. It's like,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that happen?
Yeah.
So this article, there's another section I wanted to read real quick. It says in this guy's book, says this guy explains how reality can be destabilized and replaced by a simulation. That's the terrifying part. Yeah, strap in.
I need water here.
You got some weed? You got beer? So it says, first, a simulation is seen as a faithful representation of reality, like a map or a portrait. So it's like, hey, this is really realistic looking. Like, come check out this video game. It's so realistic. And here's a nice caricature of Barack Obama, because it says, next comes the perversion of the original reality as the symbol takes on a life of its own through mass production. Caricatures are an example of this, since they still suggest the original, like that looks a lot like Barack Obama, but mostly consist in a mashup of social stereotypes and visual tropes, as this caricature of Barack Obama demonstrates. So you can tell that's Barack Obama, but there's so much more that's no longer Barack Obama, but it still somewhat resembles, you can still recognize it as Barack Obama. Says this third stage comes when we begin to lose sight of the original, as the simulation takes precedence over reality. Growing up near one of the Disney theme parks gave me lots of experience with this stage. Wherever a real original takes a backseat to the simulation and begins to follow after the third stage has been reached. The completion of this project or process occurs once the simulation claims itself as its own reality. That's when you know we're screwed. Even the faint echoes of the original have vanished because the simulation has successfully supplanted it and become a hyper-real simulacrum. Simulacrum.
But isn't that in fact Dark Brandon? I mean,
yeah,
right?
I mean, in a way, he's at least the caricature part of it.
Yeah,
but at least reached that the third stage,
right? By going all V for Vendetta. But I mean, it's getting to the point where the simulacrum is quickly going to overtake the original.
Yeah, more people are going to follow Dark Brandon meme over the actual legitimate President Biden, the bumbling, fumbling idiot that shits his pants in front of the Pope. They're going to, like, pretty soon, within the how long before all you're going to see is these like press releases from Dark Brandon, and it's not even Brandon anymore. It's not Brandon. It's not even Joe Biden anymore. It's I'm already venturing down that. I forgot what his name was. Do we even recognize Joe Biden?
So they're probably, they won't have any debates. It'll end up being a bot versus Trump, right? And this bot will become the president of the United States.
Well, how many times have we theorized that one of his like speeches that he's given, that's a deep fake for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that, look at his eyeballs. Look at, I mean,
yeah.
How hard would it be in today's world to put out, like, especially social media, on Twitter, when he comes out with these like elaborate tweets, it's like the guy can barely talk, and that guy doesn't know how to use Twitter. So somebody, at least a person, another entity is putting out these posts. What if there's a bot that's generating Biden speech out there?
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
No. And what happens when they have shifted our perception to actually think that this Dark Brandon character is actually Joe Biden? And we no longer even care about, we don't even like call him Joe Biden. We forgot that his name was Joe Biden.
We don't even call him
President Dark Dark Brandon.
He is essentially become Corn Pop.
He's a really bad dude. So this talks about think about. We'll get into it, I guess, because this talks about when the simulation takes over reality. The implications with like the metaverse.
Yes.
Like we talked about Zuckerberg's views for the metaverse and how basically we're gonna not know the difference, be able to distinguish the difference between reality and metaversality. I don't know what we call that, but fake versus reality. Like, at what point do we get so far deep into this that it's just like, are we here or are we there there now?
Right. Yeah.
But had a couple other things before we got there. So AI taking control of the network. So what do we think? First of all, what do we think is actually more worrisome? Is it AI, that like this inversion where AI takes control of it and kicks us all out? Or is it the corporations or the government using AI to manipulate like us towards certain purchases, certain behavior, certain thoughts, like voting and like, is it more worrisome of the ultimate takeover of AI on the internet? Or is it more worrisome that there are people that use this to manipulate our thoughts? Like, what do you think?
I mean, for me personally, it's more worrisome that we're being manipulated, right? I mean, we're being set on trending, on thought processes, this groupthink, this like, you know, especially kids today are so influenced by what's online, and that's what they're following right there. If we get kicked out of the internet, I mean, me personally, I mean, it's an inconvenience, but it's not really gonna mess up my life.
Like if somebody came out today and it's like, do you know literally 100% of dialogue on the internet is 100% AI? What do you think about that? My thought's going to be, thank God that's not real people.
Yeah, right. There's still hope for mankind.
Yeah, but the scary part is when there are actual people that talk like this and bots that are like manipulating them to talk like that, and people are susceptible to continue down that path of that narrow corralled, what we were talking about, like the wild web being like corralled towards this like universal monolithic way of thinking. That's scarier to me than just finding out like the whole web is corrupt and is full of bots. And I'd just be like, fine, click, shut it off. Who fucking cares?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll find my way.
Exactly.
Some people are gonna suffer, but I'll find my way. That's fine.
Yeah. Like the, you know, after the Draco, I mean, there's gonna be the poor people, you know, texting, you know, putting on Facebook, be like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
And the bots are like, we don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Why are you here, bot?
Yeah, exactly. We don't even watch you here.
It's like, you're a bot. And the bots kick him out because he's a bot.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to have some people that, I mean, they'll suffer greatly, and especially the younger generation would. But to me, that the more troubling part of it is, yes, people are being taught what to think. They're being shown what to think. You know, they're being manipulated, on a corporate level, but also on a emotional level.
Well, it doesn't even like it doesn't take bots to corral our thinking.
No.
Like to point us down that same path of universal thought, because I'm sure you've seen this video, but I got to play this because I don't think this is bots. I mean, it might have been controlled by bots, but this is out there in the world.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling and irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media.
Have you seen this one? You haven't seen this?
No.
What do you think about that? Like, does it even matter that bots are influencers? This is our old school media out there, like the network television, the network news. It's basically, they are bots in human flesh that are doing exactly and saying exactly what the corporations are telling them. And it's not just like this is ABC and this local. No, you got Fox News, you got CBS, you got ABC. It's all the corporations are saying the goddamn same freaking thing.
Yeah.
And we're scared about bots influencing what we're being told on the internet.
Yeah.
We have sentient living bots right in front of us that are telling us what to
in
think.
the mainstream media.
And then,
that makes me think that yes, we are bots.
Yeah, or at least everybody else's bots.
Yes.
But what if they could get millions of social media bots, personas, to do exactly that there? Because that is limited to the number of news anchors out there.
And let's be honest. I mean, that's going to affect old people because who else watches local news?
Yeah, well, the old people aren't going to be affected by the bots. But I know you've seen this one. This was during the COVID days. This was a bunch of Twitter posts. Sam Gall or Galley, MD says, I just left the ER. We are officially back to getting crushed by COVID-19. Delta variant is running rampant and is much more transmissible than the original virus. 99% of our ICU admits do not receive a vaccine. Then Julia Song says, I just left the AR. We are same damn thing 9 different times from 9 different posts. So again, you get the video post was influenced by, but limited to just the amount of news anchors that are in front of people's faces. When you get however many millions of people just regurgitating that, not people, but bots, clearly this is bots or just a copy and paste thing, but clearly bots, saying the same thing, and people are going to look at this and be like, oh my God, Delta variant is horrible. 99% of them don't have the vaccine, and our hospitals are backed up. Like, what the hell's going on? I mean, you just saw this so much, this influence of human interaction and thought during COVID-19. I think that was the major uptick, the major spike, and let's all, like, basically all in this together mentality was just like, the all in this together wasn't like, hey, let's work together. It's like, everybody think like this. This is how we want you to think.
And now, I mean, looking back and seeing this, I mean, it was completely manufactured.
Yeah, a lot of it was manufactured, and a lot of the response was artificial. And I mean, you don't even have to get into like Russian manipulation or Russian bots when our own people are doing it to us.
Because any doctor that spoke out against it was canceled.
Yeah, the scary part is when they start accusing organic info, organic like information being spread as fake news, which we saw that so much. It's like, and they were even talking about it on the news thing. It's like the dangerous spread of misinformation. It's like, you are the dangerous spread of misinformation.
But that's the tactic, is accuse the other side of what you're doing. You see it all the time.
Yeah, but this bot generated, or I get this, calling it bot generated can go 2 different ways. It can be either like AI bot or like these like corporate drone bots that are telling us to think the same things. Either way, we end up in the same spot where we're all thinking the exact same thing, saying the exact same thing, responding in the exact same way. Otherwise, we are considered the fake news. We are considered the bots. So that's the scary part.
Yeah, it is, because we're the ones that don't follow the narrative. So yes, obviously we're the ones that aren't real.
Well, we talked enough about the serious shit of it for now. I want to get into the, like, for funsies, like the AI taking over the world part, because
that sounds like
that's more like, it's more fun for me to talk about the AI taking over the world than it is for to talk about
the Terminator situations.
Yeah, than talking about our government and corporations like manipulating us towards universal thought. So this article is titled "How AI Could Take Over the World: 12 Aftermath Scenarios."
Wow, 12.
Yeah, they went deep in this.
They did.
I'm not going to read this whole article. I just want to get into the 12 scenarios because we're running out of time quick. So it says, how could AI take over the world? What would an AI-controlled world look like, and how would we as humans fit into that new model? This almost sounds like the World Economic Forum, but talking about AI, because it's like the economy needs to change. We need to. And how do you survive in a post-COVID era?
How do we know Klaus Schwab is not a bot?
He probably
Maybe this is a completely AI generated strategy that the WEF is following.
Probably, yeah. So it says there are no right or wrong answers to these questions because we simply don't know. But we can hypothesize different scenarios based on where AI is today and where it could go in the future.
They've probably made movies about all these situations.
They sound fantastic, like fantastic movies. The first, so this is the 12 scenarios.
Okay.
The first is obviously our favorite, the libertarian utopia, which I'd never even considered a libertarian utopia of AI takeover. So it says this is the best case scenario. Obviously, it's libertarian,
and it's utopia.
Yeah. It says instead of AI taking over the world, it coexists peacefully alongside humans. Think of a human and a cyborg chorus joining hands to sing Kumbaya.
That sounds horrible, actually.
I think, yeah, it's naive to think that that would happen.
Yeah,
because AI is going to realize that these people are idiots and they suck.
Yeah.
I mean, you got AI that's already like, these people are weird. They don't conform to our standards, so let's kick them off YouTube. Wait till they're like, these people are weird. Let's kill them all.
Well, yeah, because AI is it learns from human interaction, right? And people are horrible to each other. So yeah, AI is gonna be like, shit.
Yeah, wait till the AI hears us saying how we are cancer to the earth, and then the AI is gonna be like, they said it, not me.
Like, I'm just agreeing. I'm just helping out.
Exactly. The second scenario is benevolent dictator. Compared to the utopia above, this is a bit of a demotion for humans. Here, a powerful and complex AI runs society and imposes rules on humans, but most humans are okay with it. I could see that happening. They'd be like, well, it's for the good of humanity.
You know what? They have our best interest.
Yeah.
We need to just go with this.
Yes. Trust the science.
Yeah.
The third is egalitarian utopia. This one is where I feel like they want us to think, like the elitists want us to think that this is where it's going to go, because this says sort of a futuristic socialism. This is where humans and cyborgs coexist peacefully due to the elimination of personal property and guaranteed income. Welcome, comrades. Sounds like the Great Reset.
That does sound like the Great Reset.
Because they talk about us not having
that sounds
any
like
possessions.
That sounds like what their hopes are for us.
No, that sounds like what they want us to think their hopes are for us, because I know that's not what they want us to live in. They want us to be like controlled.
Yeah.
But they want us to think that we're going to peacefully live. We're going to eliminate property and guaranteed income. And
you're going to like it.
Well, yeah. And Klaus Schwab even talks about like the fourth industrial revolution, where we will like basically merge with artificial intelligence, and like all our data will be on the interwebs, and the Internet of Bodies is what they call it, instead of the Internet of Things. Like we're just hooked up to the network, and we can just basically like send text through like thoughts and shit. So, but again, that's not what they want for us. Really, they want us to think that that's the utopia we want. The next one is the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper scenario makes me think of a sheriff from the Old West. It stays out of people's business as much as possible. Its primary role is to prevent another superintelligent from rising up and possibly taking over the world. Helpful robots and human machine cyborgs exist, but their advancement is forever stymied by the gatekeeper. So basically, these bots are to keep the bad bots out. Like they are just here to protect us from something worse.
Right.
It'd be more manipulative. Those manipulative things. It'd be like kind of like 1984. It's like, well, you don't want to be like them, or like V for Vendetta. It's like the bots take over the world. It's like, well, you have to do like, we're here for you. We're protecting you.
We're protecting you from you,
or from badder bots.
Yeah, right.
The next is Protector God. Here we have a godlike AI entity that greases the skids for human happiness by letting us feel like we're in control of our destiny. It operates behind the scenes, so to speak, to the point that some humans doubt its very existence. So it's just here to make our life better and make things easier for us. And
I don't see that as no, because I'm sorry, any entity that is got in and okay,
any AI, like perfect AI, is going to know that it's perfect, and it's going to have its own like ego.
Exactly.
Not even like to a flaw of an ego, but it knows. It's like, I don't know. It's like somebody without a filter. That's just like, I am the best.
Yeah,
you know?
and it would develop an ego, and it would want the rest of the world to know that it is its benevolent God.
But the difference between like an egotistical human is the AI knows that it's the top dog because it is the top. Like it's right because it's right. So it's they're not going to beat around the bush and be like, you know, I'm just gonna stroke your ego for you, make you think you're doing good. No, they're gonna be like, you guys fucking suck. So do what I say.
Absolutely.
The next is enslaved God. From a storytelling standpoint, I consider the enslaved God scenario to be a powder keg waiting to explode. This is where we have super intelligent AI that's actually confined by humans. We harness it using its advanced capabilities to produce technology and wealth for ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
So this is the one I feel like this is the one that the elites think that it's going to be.
Yeah.
And they want us to think that it's the egalitarian utopia.
Right.
So you got the Klaus Schwab types that are like in the Bill Gates and whatever that are all on board with AI. And they're like, you know, we want them to think that this is this like peace and harmony coexist due to elimination of personal property. But we know that it's just going to bring wealth and technology, like it's going to build us, like the few at the top up. It's going to bring this massive wealth and we'll be able to control it because we're super smart. And that's what they think it's going to be, when in the end it's just going to like end up being the next one, which is the conquerors and destroy all of us.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Like the elite's ego is going to get the best of them.
Yeah.
Where they're like, if it's like Jafar with the genie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Our own aspirations, our own like desires get the best of us, and we end up biting off much more than we can chew.
As we do.
Yes. So the next one is the conquerors. It says, buckle up. We're getting into AI takeover and world domination scenarios. Here, artificial intelligence begins to view humans as a threat or a nuisance or a waste of resources, which if it's listening to like Klaus Schwab, those types of people, it's going to be like, you know what? You're right. There is way too many people on Earth. I'm going to take all of them out. Might as well. So it seizes control, eliminating humankind in a way we can only imagine. The next is descendants. In the aftermath scenario, artificial intelligence replaces humans as the dominant life form on the planet, but in a graceful way, a passing of the torch, if you will. We look on AI the way proud parents would view a super intelligent child going out into the world.
I don't think so.
No.
Human ego would not let that happen.
Well, you get the people that say like, what's it called? Like where you like merge with like cyber.
Yeah,
like, I can't think of what that's called, but they say that's like the next evolutionary step is like we become
singularity.
Yeah, we become cyborgs pretty much. That's the next evolutionary step. Well, then that only leads to the next evolutionary step, which is where the cyborg eliminates, like sheds off the weakness of the human part.
core, and then it's just cyborgs.
Yeah, because the cyborg's like, you know, we could be even stronger if we get rid of this shit that's holding us down, this human part. Let's just get. So yeah, I could see us thinking that it's just like, well, this is just the next, you know, step in the circle of life.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it still turns into the whole conquers scene. The next is the zookeeper. An all-powerful AI takes over the world, but it doesn't kill humans off completely. It keeps some of us around, the chosen few, in a captive state, similar to zoo animals.
That's optimistic.
Real quick, 1984 is the next one.
Yeah.
The aftermath scenario is named after George Orwell's novel by the same name. It borrows the central idea from the book well. Here, human authorities create a surveillance state to ban AI research, fearful of its abilities. So basically saying humans will be scared and fearful of AI, so they ban AI completely. Which I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm fine because I'm terrified of what AI is capable of. So fine, if you want to ban it, great.
Yeah.
Reversion is the next. It says, put your car in the garage and break out the horse and buggy. Humans have seen terrifying potential of AI and superintelligence and want nothing to do with it. We adopt anti-tech views, reverting back to pre-industrial, pre-technological society, the style of the Amish. It's almost getting like condescending. Like if you don't believe in AI,
then just go back to the horse and buggy.
It's basically showing like all this is so blown out of proportion that we're going to end up in this like reversion state where we're just going to be anti-tech, kind of like a trust the science type mentality. The last is self-destruction. I'll just defer to Tegmark on this one. Superintelligence is never created because humanity drives itself extinct by other means, say nuclear or biotech mayhem fueled by. Dang, how is that a version of AI takeover?
Right. Yeah.
Like we never get there because humans kill themselves.
I have another scenario that they don't talk about.
Real quick, we're about out of time.
We revert, but not by choice, right?
Okay. How so?
War breaks out. EMP pulse.
So basically,
technology's wiped out.
Self-destruct, but we don't kill ourselves.
We don't kill ourselves. We just revert.
Kill
to where there's no technology. We have to start from scratch.
So this is like a combo of reversion and self-destruction.
Yeah.
So
basically.
like you combine the two. Like
yeah.
we don't like take ourselves out, but we take the AI out accidentally, and we end up back in the Stone Age. But
right.
not
Or the AI accidentally takes us out.
So my whole thought, because I said, like, I think that the elites think that they're going to be like this enslaved god. They're going to be the masters of this AI, where we can control it. It's like, I can't remember. There's a podcast I was listening to about the dead internet and about the bots taking over. And basically, they described it as like humans basically feel like they have this wild animal, like a Siberian tiger on like a little leash. It's like, oh yeah, we got control.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, yeah, we control this thing, no problem. And he goes where we say, he does what he eats, who we want to eat. He controls what we want. But at the end of the day, we have the leash until at the end of the day when the tiger turns around and eats the fucking person. Because I do you feel like we're playing God with AI here?
Fuck yeah.
Where we are really screwing with our own demise with this AI shit.
I think so. And it's human ego, it's like, pushing that boundary because we can, right?
But we'll always have control because
yeah,
humans are the ones with the intelligence that came up with the AI. So even though we're intentionally making AI smarter than humans, but we're the ones that had this, that created them. So they're never going to turn on us. So I don't understand how that.
Yeah.
Like I've read enough science fiction books to know that this is not going to end.
It never ends well.
So, I mean, that's a fun part of this is just like speculating where this goes, but I don't see that happening in the next short term.
No, next 20 years, no.
But it still makes you, like, all this conversation makes you ask, is anything real? Is anything, like, once you read this, it's like, you start going back to your interactions online. It's like, was that even a real interaction?
Well, and that's the thing. And I think you have to look at anything on the internet in that way. It's like, okay, is this even real? And that's how I look at it. Whenever I hear, something that, oh, men are pissed at She-Hulk. I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? Or Christians are pissed at Starbucks. It's like, okay.
Are they though? I mean, yeah, some are because they were told to be.
Right.
Are they?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's generated, right? It's like they're pissed because, oh my gosh, I can't believe Starbucks did that. I'm going to boycott them. Right. We've all seen that.
Yeah. But it's just like they're guiding us towards this like blurred reality. And they've already got us sucked into the reality of social media where we think what like this human interaction is human interaction. Even if even if it's not bots, this isn't real interaction that you're having with people. You would never go up to somebody on the streets and be like, bullshit, you're a fucking idiot. No, you'd be afraid to get punched in the face. And I've said for years now, it's like, the problem with the world is we've lost that fear of getting punched in the face for saying something stupid. Because maybe people would start second guessing what they're saying if there's constantly that option of, hey, this guy's gonna punch me in the freaking
and
face.
I told my daughter that today because she asked me, she's like, Dad, have you ever had to deal with a Karen before? And I go, yeah, I have. And I said, but to be honest, I think most people are Karens because they can say what they want on the internet and nobody says anything about it.
But they think that's reality. It's like, I'm this social justice warrior, but it's just like, are you actually doing anything even for social justice outside of your freaking social media life? Are you doing something for social justice out there? Are you doing like any sort of, are you even like brave enough to get out on the streets and hold up a freaking picket sign while people are spitting in your face? Or are you just like, man, women's rights, gay people's rights, and all the, I mean, fine if that's what you believe
I'm going to unfriend you if you don't believe in what I believe in. Okay, well,
God.
is that forwarding anything?
Yeah, it's like, wow, you really stepping up and you're doing something real. It's like, people, I feel that they've already got to the point where they think social media is real life.
Oh, absolutely.
And they
Yeah.
think that their interactions are actual legitimate. This is like how legitimate human behavior. And I feel like society has downgraded so much since the
Oh my
advent
gosh.
of social
Yes,
media.
yes.
And like our social
Yeah.
quality,
Mhm.
just it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I will go out to dinner and we'll see like a young couple on a date, and they're on their phones,
Mhm.
right? They'll be sitting at a table watching something on their phone. It's like nobody talks.
Yeah, you have people like texting each other across the room. It's like they're right
Yeah.
fucking there.
Yeah, go talk to
Talk
them.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only going to get worse as like the
Mhm.
metaverse comes out. This is the last thing I want to read here. This is talking about the metaverse, but it kind of goes in line with what we're talking about. It says some metaverse users will find it impossible to distinguish between the real and unreal, which again, I feel like we're already there.
Absolutely.
Just not in like virtual reality. It says others won't even try since they will be able to live in customized alternative reality with social engagement based upon their biases and perceptions. Instagram, like I feel like again, we're already there. Like people don't even try to live real lives because they would rather portray this perception of a life that they want to live.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if the metaverse gets in the way and it's like, or gets introduced and we actually can go live these fake lives. And it's like, why would these people that had no lives in the first place want to ever come out of that?
Right.
It says the way a person had previously thought reality should have been working to benefit him or her will finally seem to work that way. No longer anchored to reality, untethered users will be dependent on the metaverse for their very identity, which could create profound and dysfunctional change. Again, we're at least 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You think the internet's dead, Bill?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Do you think it's primarily bots out there, like actual AI bots, or you think it's just dead in the fact that people just aren't real
No,
anymore?
I think it's dead in a couple ways. First of all, yeah, I think people have gotten lazy. I feel like, whereas before where they would come up with original content online, they've moved on to, message boards, they've moved on to social media, they've, they moved on to, if they do some kind of like artistic thing, it's moved on to Etsy or Reddit, and so there's no actual like web out there. There's no like, there's no expansion where people are actually putting their ideas out there,
Right.
because they've gotten lazy. They're focused on social media. And so that space has been filled with bots.
Yeah,
Because there's a void, right? The void's got to be filled with something, and it's been filled with bots, and it's being overflowed with bots now to the point where the only place where real people, and that's even backtrack a little bit. That's not even true, because now you got bots moving into social media to influence people's thought and purchasing and consumerism, like you said, and so it's quickly overtaking us.
Yeah, is there any organic interaction
Yeah.
anymore out there?
Right.
Any organic influence out there
Yeah.
anymore that's not pay per click, like
Yeah.
try to influence you towards this purchase or this trend or this political way of thinking,
Right.
this medical way of thinking, quote unquote medical way of thinking?
Yeah.
Is any of it organic thought anymore?
Right.
And even again, the human interaction isn't
Yeah.
organic thought anymore, because
Yeah.
we've just been trained to follow the social cues.
Another good example is that the new Lord of the Rings show on Amazon, right, where they've shut down the reviews. They said so they say, right? I mean, maybe that's not true, because again, people are seeing, oh, it's getting bad reviews because of diversity.
Well, it's like YouTube getting rid of the thumbs down option, or
Right.
like the thumb down count. At least you can still give them a thumbs down, but they don't show the counts because that might make people feel bad.
Right.
But no, it just makes like people like CNN, people realize that these people are full of shit and nobody likes it, because you're not seeing, hey, yeah, this has like 2,000 likes, but it has like 3 million dislikes.
right?
Yeah. That itself is like inorganic,
Right.
Like interaction. Like if you're not able to see the quality of it, you are like being manipulated to think a certain way. So
Yeah. And so I mean, the internet has become one giant, like you said, one giant like school of thought, where it's just like, let's see, how do we want people to think today?
Yes.
Okay, let's focus on this over here.
Back to our Wild Wild West type analogy. This is real quick because we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like physical world, we've speculated, we've read theories that they're trying to force us all into like urban, like single huge cities and stuff, like get us out of the frontiers and into these mega cities. And it's kind of like the internet is doing that now too, whether it's through bots or whether it's through like Google manipulating search results via bots. It's pushing us into these like small pockets of, well, these like mega pockets of the internet, but it's like such a small real estate space compared to what the totality of the internet. But we are being forced into these like small urbanized locations on the internet the same way as we are in real life, it seems like.
That's a good analogy.
So that's all we got for this one. I don't have a solution for this. I don't know how to pull away from it besides disconnecting yourself from that.
Which is a good idea to do anyways, is, find ways to disconnect, find different ways to try to get your information. Don't rely on Google.
Yeah, don't even rely on like social media interactions anymore because it's all probably fake. So
exactly.
So
go find real interaction. Go talk to real people.
Fucking talk to somebody. I mean, it's going to get to the point where we're not even going to be able to tell if you're a real person or an AI like real bot.
Yeah.
So while you still can talk to
definitely stay
people,
the hell out of the metaverse.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, no shit.
Unless we're already there.
We need to get out of here. This has been an interesting one. It's piqued my interest a couple weeks ago, so I was just like, let's talk about this.
Yeah, it was a good one.
What do y'all think? Do you think the internet's dead? Do you think do you think we are real? Do we think we're real?
I don't even, like I said, we could be in the metaverse right now.
I don't even know anymore. Yeah. So
we have a couple viewers. Are they real or are they bots?
Yeah.
Are the bots watching us to see what we're saying?
Yeah, probably. That's why our videos were going so slow. Yeah. They're like, we're going to slow this shit down to make them look shittier than they already are. So on that note, make sure you check us out all over social media. If you're a real human, if you're a bot, please stay out of our traffic because we don't want you bogging up our airwaves.
We don't need that.
So if you're real, like and subscribe, share the shit all over to all your real social media contacts and your fake ones too.
Sure.
But I mean, we'll take what whores. We'll take what we can get, I guess. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back here this time next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, as always. Otherwise, be back for the weekend wrap up next week.
Yeah,
that's about it. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you next time.
Peace.
Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, Beyond the Run Podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.